Yes, this is the Need to Know Crosstalk show. My name is Zeke Dorset. It's good to have you on, Vlad.
It's a pleasure.
How are you? How's life?
Doing okay. You know, we're trying to maintain, trying to survive.
Trying to survive. Always smiling, brother. It's good. It's always get good vibes.
Yes, you too, my brother. You too. But for some reason, I thought you were in Haiti or something like this. And,
all right.
You're not Haitian by any chance, eh?
No, I'm not. No.
I don't know where I get the idea. Maybe the name Dorset, Zeki Dorset, or something like this. The name kind of believe that you just over there in Haiti helping out, or that's the picture I had in mind.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
I hear the accent, and I'm like, oh, this is UK right there.
Yeah. People always tell me about my accent. They get confused whether I'm in London or who knows. But yeah, definitely in the UK.
I love the accent though.
Well, like I said, it's amazing to have you on. Been following your work online through Facebook and mainly Facebook. And
yes.
Yeah, what great topic we have. Or a few topics. We're going to be covering a few areas. Vlad is a very, very intuitive individual, and he's got an amazing show yourself out at the moment called the Vlad Imbert Show.
Yes.
Sorry, how long has your show been going on for now?
A good couple, I believe, like if not 5 years, the least.
5 years, yeah.
Okay. Yes, 5 years at least, I believe. I'm not too good with time and stuff like this, but I hold on right.
I'm with you on that one, honestly. I forget when my birthday is.
Try to stay outside of time as much as possible. I want to stay young, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just in the space, mate. I hear you. So, yeah, like I said, we've got a few topics to share on, and I think we're going to get, it's not a thing, I know we're going to get a lot of information from this gentleman. And at the same time, we'll hopefully be able to deliver a nice energy for you guys to harness and enjoy. And hopefully it will plant some seeds for you as well. So what we will be sharing over today's show is sovereignty. What is sovereignty? We'll be looking into apologies, my laptop's playing up.
No problem.
We'll be looking into sovereignty. It'd be easier if I just work off my phone the way this laptop's been playing up today. My phone.
These things are always fun.
They have their own minds sometimes, I swear.
Yes.
So yeah, we're going to be looking at sovereignty, the art of becoming a self-made master. The benefits and flaws of the digital matrix, and we'll be touching base a little bit on cryptocurrency. So I'm very, very excited to have you on. There's going to be a lot of information thrown out. I've got my book ready to take notes.
Yes, definitely.
And so I'm just going to jump in straight away. And I love starting the show always with a what. So I'd just like to know what your take is on sovereignty. What is sovereignty to you?
Basically, sovereignty somehow is, to be able to live your life however you see fit. You see what I mean? Especially now in these times, to me, many people, have the wrong idea somehow, because, it's somehow they thinking that it's about, just getting that freedom so that you can do whatever you want, this and that. But the main thing for the time and why sovereignty has to be and it works for this time is because it's a new day, it's a new time, it's a new dawn. You see what I mean? So the same way it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. We were free at first, free to create, free to be ourselves, because every spirit, that inhabit an avatar, they somehow have a certain journey attached to them. You see what I mean? Like we have a journey attached to us, and there's no way we can serve that journey except if we are free to be. You know what I mean? And this is why in these days and time, you know, it's very important that we are ourselves. And for those, you know, who may have not went and done the journey within, this is why today they may find themselves very confused and very lost and stuff like this, because they don't know exactly still who they are and what they are supposed to be doing with themselves and stuff like this. But you know, with many of us, or we can say few of us, we have went within and do the journey, then our job is to be ourselves once again, the same sovereignty again, to be ourselves freely, so that we may be able to, you know, shine some light to everyone else's path, or helping them see clearer on their path where they may have not been able to see clear or something like this. But sovereignty, it goes beyond what most people are thinking about now. It's really not about being able to drive the car you always wanted, to do this, to do that, except that to just help heal the planet, you know, bring it back to its original state. And as we are, you know, most would say, as we are entering, you know, like less dense dimension of space and time and stuff like this. You see what I mean? I hope, you know, I give a clear answer to that. If not, you know, just let me know. That's basically my take on that. Yes.
Yeah, and thank you for that. It's I like your take on what sovereignty means to you, and it's definitely more than a personal thing. You know, I've got some etymology on the word sovereign here, which if I just read it out, it says sovereign, late 13th century, superior, ruler, master. From the old French souverain, lord, ruler, noun use of adjective meaning highest, supreme, chief. It's all kind of it's not plural. It's like in the sense of actually talking about a being. And just this piece here I'll read out as well, which came from Wikipedia. It says sovereignty is the full right of power of a governing body over itself. Very important, over itself. Like you were sharing, without any interference from outside sources or bodies. In political theory, sovereignty is a substantive term designating supreme authority over some polity. So again, it's not geared towards the plural size. It's very much focusing on the individual, as it states, over governing the body over itself.
Yes.
So, it's something that's really lost in our age today. I mean, it goes back quite far as well. You know,
yes.
This is in Wikipedia. It's looking at go to the classical ages, the medieval, and there's quite a lot of information there, to be honest. So just take a few snippets. It's the Age of Enlightenment. Did you just share on that? The Age of Enlightenment, or did I?
Sorry, say again?
The Age of Enlightenment.
Uh-huh.
If I just touch base on a little bit of what's going on here, it says there's so many aspects of sovereignty. Like you can domestic sovereignty, interdependence, and then you can go into, it's got international legal sovereignty, Westphalian.
Yeah, it is a very broad. Yes, it is. You know, but the core, or the very basis of that is, like we say, like you just mentioned as well from Wikipedia, is basically for the spirit to be able to be itself. You see what I mean? Yeah. Because it's only when it governs its own energy, then it can be itself. You see what I mean? And do what it came to do, what it was meant to do, or something like this. But everything else, you see, they're mostly of the, you know, the other part is mainly mundane or physical, or something like this. It's like, you know, the you know, to grow your own food, get your own electricity, blah, 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 all of these things, they pertain to the physical itself. Though they're one in the same, you see what I mean? But all of that is only to serve the spiritual journey itself. You see what I mean? That's basically what that is. You know what I mean? But it is a very broad thing, like, and no one can really tell anyone else what sovereignty is to them except they would know. You see what I mean? Because that's basically how it is to me, or something like that.
So a little bit about yourself and sovereignty. Maybe you can share with the viewers just a little bit of your past journey, your time cycle, as to what you've been getting up to, and then maybe leading up to the period when sovereignty was something that was knocking on your door, as your awareness was heightening and you was recognizing that actually your path was calling you. So yeah, very interested what you was doing before.
Yes, very, very important questions. But the thing is, it's with me, it goes way back. You see, it goes way back, because that's why last time I was on the podcast from B Program in Hawaii. I'm not sure if you were aware of that one. I believe he asked something like this, and I was trying to answer it, because I realized that it's kind of different from me or something like this than the majority or something like this, because I had to explain it in this way so everyone can understand that there's two types of knowing somehow. You see what I mean? There's the knowing of the mind, and which is to be taught and acquired or whatever it is, by reading or maybe meditating or data or whatever it is. And then there's the gnosis of the heart. It's something that if you always go with the heart, you're always gonna feel the knowing. You see what I mean? So somehow, since I'm the type of person since young, even all my cousins, my sisters, my friends, they always knew me to be somehow connected spiritually, because my answers and understanding about life compared to them was always like ahead of its time. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So this is what they always say about me. That's why I was always the black sheep somehow. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, basically, I always felt within myself like there's something here, like, there's something is not right. You see what I mean? It's like, but growing up in Haiti, I couldn't tell exactly what it was, because, you're growing up, especially away from my mother and father and stuff like this. So you're growing up with a grandmother, and then everything you like this little child, you see what I mean, was not aware of anything at all, except whatever I was aware of it was within, like knowing, like, okay, something doesn't feel right. I need to know certain things or something like this. But they never used to let me out of the house that often to even recognize anything. But it wasn't until I came on this side to the US or something like this, then being always connected, to myself and always trust. You see, that's the thing, not having been raised with a father and mother forced you to really trust your own guts. You see what I'm saying? And that's now I'm thanking the universe and God or higher power for that. You see what I mean? Because I trusted at first, not knowing why or something, but now I see my intuition is so heightened and so much that it's beyond what most can understand, to the point where if I explain to them, they won't even see what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, I see that when I come over to this side, the first time I already started seeing the issues that I was feeling. You see what I mean? I felt something, the world needed, us to do something, but I couldn't tell exactly what it was. Though I was aware in my own country of political issues and, like civil unrest or whatever, I was aware of these things. But to me, it wasn't really the main issue. There was something more grand or something like this that was going on or something. But it's when I came over here and then I started seeing the way the folks, the way they treat each other, how money is the main thing. Everybody is all about the money. They will kill, they will do this, they will sell even their own families for it. And I started seeing certain things that really do not make sense to me. You see what I mean? And then that's when I started understanding, okay, oh, there's so much to be done, because I was not used to this type of things. Though I know people waking up, going to work, but I didn't know that money had so much power over people until I came over here. So that's when I realized, okay, there's you know, if money has this much power over people, it means that their consciousness is not really there. You see what I'm saying? They don't know who they are. And me, myself, being attached to them, I would say, okay, I don't know who I am. So this is why I started going around, you see, I mean, looking in religion, you know, I first going back to, I used to be hiding myself when it's time to go to church or something like this, because I was raised in a Christian family. But every time I had to go to church, I would be hiding. And then when I came over here and realized what was going on, I started to take life seriously. And then I started wanting to take church seriously. And then I went to church. But when I go to church, I realized, nah, this is not where it is. I'm not feeling this, you see? And then somebody told me about Islam. And then I see, okay, this is what my heart was looking for. Because, you know, as a human being, you always look to belong somewhere. You see what I'm saying? So Islam kind of went with my type of values and what I believe in the love and brotherhood and stuff like this. Once they mentioned these things to me, then I was already in. So I went into Islam, studied for about 10 years or something like this. And then after that, I realized, okay, there's more to it. Still, why? Because the Muslims in themselves are in trouble today in the world. And to me, they don't even know what to do and how to deal with the situations today. You see what I mean? And then that's when I started continuing the journey, And then the more I continue my journey, you see what I mean, the more I realize, you know, the need to trust myself. And this is where sovereignty come in. I needed to trust myself and do whatever my own spirit tells me that needs to be done, regardless of what anyone would think about it, you see? And I had to work on that, you know, I mean, to allow myself to be free to do as I see fit. But after a few years, every time I realize what I've done in a few years past and I see the result of it, then the more I get to trust more. I get to trust more, and the more, you know, until I didn't even know the word sovereignty, but I had the feeling of sovereignty. You see what I'm saying? Right. And that's what sovereignty is about. It's to be like when society is going left, and to have the strength to go right if you know that they're not going the right. You see what I mean? And this is where I attach once I get to know the word and I try to connect it to what I was feeling, and then I realize this is the same thing. You see what I mean? And then more and more, you know, that's why even now I push it even with Sovereignty 2020 from Secret Energy and led by Sevan Boomer. And so you know that, you see what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I push that so much to people, because we do need a world where people, you know, like Sevan would say, that everyone has their own uniqueness, something to offer, and, you know, a piece to the puzzle, I like to say it in my own terms. You see what I mean? Like that piece to the puzzle, you have to leave that individual to be itself. But first you have to know yourself. You see what I mean? And this is why it's so important to show like that. That's why I don't even allow myself to go too deep into too much, except the being. You see, I mean, every word I say, everything I talk about, everything I do has to be with the being more than to the knowing. You see, I mean, because it's like I said, it's the edge of knowledge for the human being. You have to already know. You see, edge of knowledge doesn't mean you're gonna seek to know. No, it means you should already know. So now, after you know, what is left to be done is to be. You see what I'm saying? So this is the time to be it, to be that uniqueness that you are, to be the piece to the puzzle that you came to be, so that we can together, you know, affect the world in a balanced way or something like that. You see what I mean? So that's basically. I know it's a long answer, but you know, your question was kind of deep too, so I had to go way back with you and you know, to bring it to today. You see what I mean? Because everything basically, you realize everything is connected in the timing. You see what I'm saying? Everything I used to trust a long time ago, now somehow they're making sense to me. You see what I mean? They're making sense, and that's why I'm so happy more and more, because I realize, okay, I was not stupid for trusting myself. Because throughout the whole thing, when you see most people don't understand you, or why you want to do whatever, why you always stand against society, why you you know what I mean? You feel somehow like you hate yourself as they feel hate for you as well. You see what I mean? Not that they feel hate, but they somehow feel sorry for you. The fact that you cannot fit in or something like that. You see what I mean? But it's not that I didn't have the longing. It's just like, what is to fit in? You see what I mean? I'm like, I don't see the reason I should. Because I'm not helping myself and I'm not even helping you. You see, I mean, if I see you not going the right way, and if I speak to you, you won't understand. So the best I can do is to separate. You see what I mean? And then as we each go our own way, then whoever has went the best way, you know, will show the way. You see what I mean? And this is what it was, though. And it's a beautiful journey, though.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's very beautiful.
An amazing answer there. Wow, I got loads out of that.
Yes, yes.
I mean, a few questions to chuck on top of that. I'm intrigued to know what type of traits came across, or did you master, should we say? Because I believe that if you want to call it negative or positives, our aim is to always master whatever it is that comes on board in our reality. Like it's just natural. We don't build to make things crumble. That's not how we work unless we got the coding incorrect.
Yes.
So I'm very intrigued to know what traits you'd built up through your lack of awareness to actually becoming very aware to where you are today. You know, because you know, we do take steps back and we take steps forwards, and like you shared, you know, the steps that you took at the time, you know, you saw a few years later down the line and you realize, wow, okay, you know, and in between those steps, I'm very intrigued to know what happened there. And you shared on building a synchronicity with your truest form. So I'd love to know you spoke of Islam and stuff like that. So you've got a religious background, which is great. If that works for you, fantastic. But I'd like to know a little bit of your platform basis as to, you know, your universal platform basis as to how you build on your synchronicity with your truest form of who you are, you know. And I really, you triggered, I'll relay these back to you. You triggered me when you shared on a specific bit earlier, and it reminded me of Savon Boma as well, you know, about getting to that stage where, you know, you can either stay in the element of being a child, in the sense of not wanting to grow up, and get on coming into the path of seriousness, you know, being on the side of the childish, of the child. You're just running in circles all the time, you know, you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, as they say, and trying to figure out why it doesn't fit. You know, you're constantly doing the madness. So coming to the serious side,
yes,
it really is taking ownership. That sovereignty sort of in itself, you know, allowing yourself to stop taking the wrong turns all the time, even though you do know. So yeah, the first question, what traits are you aware of that showed lack of awareness that people can possibly relate to? What happened within your life, and what traits, for example, was it just plain naivety, or was it, you know, what traits did you see that you built up that proved that lack of awareness was apparent, you know, and then you started cleaning yourself up? I'm really intrigued to know how you found out the all the triggers in your life, how you learned them and moved on.
Yes, but my main thing I would say is it's the blessing. Now I can really call it a blessing for the fact that I'm the one, you know, that basically raised myself. You see what I mean? Anything I know about the world is what I taught myself. You see what I mean? So I see it, that's why I used to, I never used to see it as a curse, and because I don't cry about it. Like I always say, it's like I trusted it. But my own sisters and friends and stuff like this, they always somehow felt bad. But somehow I see that I couldn't have been who I am today if it wasn't for being raised without the mother, the father. There was some sad moments. You see, like when my sisters are traveling the world with their parents every summer, and then I'm there, you know, I can't go anywhere because I don't, everyone, Mother's Day, you see Father's Day, everybody has a mother and a father, and I don't have it there with me. My mother's all across the world or something like this for me or something. I always felt like, you know, left out somehow. But for some reason, I don't even know if I should give myself the credit or if I should give the ancestors the credit or something like this. But I always felt like a hand patting my back saying that there's a reason for all this. Don't feel bad about it. Just stick, you know, be yourself, and there's no need to be sad, or just trust yourself or trust the process or something like that. And this is why you see, you know, most of the time, when I really look to see, you know, what triggers the sovereign mindset or what triggers this, it was a work in progress or something like this, you know, and starting from parents, you see what I mean? Because everyone, most people, when I tell them that, they always felt disconnected to that answer because it's not what most has to go through. Some of them had to go through some trials, like at one point in life. But me, it was an ongoing thing. You see, I mean, being raised, my mother left me, I was 1 year old. You see what I'm saying? So this was an ongoing thing. If you ask me, I never knew what happiness was, except that I had to be happy in myself because no one was there to make me happy except myself. So I had to learn to look to the positive things in life. You see, I mean, at a very young age, to allow myself to, instead of living, you know, like you know, lost and in need of affection. So I just was, I had to give myself all of these things. Why more and more, as I was growing up into teenage years and stuff like this, I started doing, having trust in myself more, is because I see even the friends that have it all, the mother, the father, they still complain, they still cry about certain things, they still have needs and all of these things. So I realized, okay, so it's a self, you know, it's something that depends on ourselves. You see, I mean, if we want to be happy or something like that. So, and then I realized, you see, the trigger is after basically when I went to the different religions and the studies, specifically Islam, because this is the only religion I really put myself into to study so much, because like I was telling you, once I came here, it was the trigger for me. Once I see, like I used to see like the black kid wanting to shoot the other black kid just because he stepped on his sneaker and his brand new sneakers. To me, these things were not really of a humane consciousness. You see, I mean, to me, it was subhuman type of mentality. You see, and this is because of that alone. I wanted to take life serious. You see, I mean, I used to be joking a lot, and then, you know, being the class clown and everything like this. And then once I came here, I changed all that. After I started connecting to the people, understanding what was going on, that was my first trigger. The second one was the religion. As I was going in religion, I'm the type, once I'm getting into something, I allow myself to be very vulnerable. So acting like I don't know anything at all, so that everything, I can suck in everything. So in Islam, I was listening to everybody, everyone, whoever had to say something, I just listened. And my own words, I never put my own words, except that I know what I'm talking about. I try to keep my tongue as much more listening than speaking. You see what I mean? So now, after a few years, once I started seeing certain inconsistencies into religion, and then again, it goes back to myself. I'm like, okay, so I can only trust myself. You see, because I'm like, okay, even the religion themselves that I trust so much, I realize that I still have to put my own input. And even the word of Allah in the Quran say that you should not pour all your trust into the scholars or something like this, you know, and Allah loves those who think, those who ponder upon the creation and this and that. Even Allah in the book, in the Quran, is pushing us to use our own mind. You see what I mean? and stuff like that. So that's when I started, okay, this is how it goes. 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 I have to trust. It's a constant thing. It's a constant going. And this is why many people think they have to go to the books, Ziki. But that's why I beg to differ. You see what I mean? Because me, I can say the only book I read, the first book I ever read from cover to cover was the Quran. And because it was something, it was mandatory in the religion. Like right now, every Ramadan, we have to read the whole Quran. And the Quran is a book you always have to be acquainted with. You always have to open it up and recite it every day, 5 times a day at least, and stuff like this. So I had to, because like once I became a Muslim, I wanted to make sure I do everything according to the books. You see what I'm saying? So, but I realized most of the things, it's all about the being. It's all the experiences, and it has nothing to do with the books. And the books that I started reading when I realized I needed to go out, but going out was why it was a decision I made, because that's the thing, that sovereignty is, like you said, it's always knowing what to do at every time. And most of the time, people think they have to plan for that, but I don't ever plan for things like this, except that you just trust that you are able, you see? And then when the moment comes, you will know exactly what to do, because there's always guidance for you there, because you are connected to your higher self, and the ego and all these things exist to guide you. You see what I mean? Except that you have to know how to trust these things, and to what degree to trust these things or something like this within yourself. So that's why when the moment came, I was like, okay, I started going to YouTube, looking for new knowledge. But when I say, okay, but all of the books they tell me to read, it's so I can, though I don't use the same terminologies, but I can see how they relate to some point of my journey. So what's the point of reading them? Because every book you read is all talking about you and your journey anyway, except different terminologies, different stories, different characters, but all talking about you. You see what I'm saying? Right. So that's when you realize that, so you're like, okay, so what's the point in reading then? And then, you know, within yourself, the answer comes, and then he says, no, at least you'll be able to level with everyone. Let's say in Islam now, that's why my first time I came with the platform, I wanted to do it in Creole, so the Haitian people can learn it, but I realized many people from across the world came, more than the Haitian came, so I continue in English, and then mostly I wanted to focus on the Muslims at first, because this is the book that I study, or the religion I study the most, so I was more equipped to level with this type of mindset or something like that. But more and more, I see, you know, more people like the New Age and yogis, different type of people, like all type of people started listening. So I'm like, okay, I need to just be. You see what I mean? But the thing is, like, you just gotta. It takes trust within yourself, because you can trust yourself. That's what it is. Because there's everything you need to know, Ziki, is already within you. You see what I mean? And I'm basically like, I'm an example of that. Because like I said, no father, no mother. And I realized those that had mothers and fathers of my friends, yes, they are successful in the metrics, but to the ones with their eyes open, all eyes open, you know what that is. You know what true success is. You know these things. You're not fooled. You see what I'm saying? So now, up to now, those friends who, like most of them, let's say some of them used to look up to me as a youngster like themselves, because of the way I used to see the world. And then at some point, they thought they knew better. And then they stopped listening to me, because I went into religion. And then they realized, you lost. Once you go into religion and you're now Muslim and stuff like this, so what's the point of becoming a Muslim? You know, you Haitian, and our parents were either Voodooists or Christians and stuff like this. To them, I'm lost, you see? But they don't understand they're all the same thing anyway. You see, I mean, it doesn't matter where you go or what turn you take. The end to this is back to self. You see what I mean? Except that you just gotta keep your eyes open and trust the journey. That's it. But they lost confidence in me. They lost trust in me, and then but now they started gaining back, because they started seeing what I was talking about 20, 15 years.
Sorry to jump in. Yeah, sorry to jump in. Do you think I'm not too confident. I'm not too sure whether they lost confidence in you. It's probably more based on the energy that you was projecting out that just wasn't flowing with where they were at that stage. You was clearly
yes, indeed.
vibrating higher, and they
Yeah,
weren't feeling it.
most
So,
definitely. I would say
yeah,
that too. That is so true because somehow they cannot relate anymore. You see what I mean? And more, like you see, that's why you don't even feel like hanging out. You lost track of everyone, lost track of time because you're really not interested in what they are interested in anymore.
right.
You like want to do something different, and the problem with the difference is that no one is doing it the way you're doing it. You see, I mean, especially people your age. You see what I'm saying? To them, they don't understand why you like this. They're like, why is he so serious about things? Why is it this? Why is it that? Why is he always worried about what happens to the world? Well, you see what I mean? Because it's just that I realize when you don't have the parents to guide you in that time, then it was a blessing in disguise because the parents you to fit in. You see what I mean? To force you to fit in and then tell you to go to school and go to college, get a good job, get married, and then get ready to die or something like this. You see what I'm saying? But when you left to fend for yourself and think for yourself, then now you depend basically on what's going on. You see the reality. You see what I mean? So now there's no one, like kind of clogging your visions and this and that. You just see it for what it is. You see, and this is why now as we finish our journey is to take the lessons from the journey, as tough as it was. Like once I tell someone no mother, no father, you can see psychologically how hard it could be for a child. And that's why now I say, okay, with this type of hardship, I realize how strong my heart became to the point where now I can speak to a world where most people are very immature emotionally. You see, I mean, that's the whole world is being controlled by their emotions and stuff like this. The way they feel, they control that through TV, through everything. You see, I mean, through the EMF frequencies and this and that, because the emotions are not stable or something. You see what I mean? And then due to that roughness that I trusted at first, then now I'm able to just navigate and with no issues, where most would be trembling. You see what I mean? So that's why I'm only saying these things so that people can stop taking anything that happened or they think that is negative in their life and just see it for negativity. Except that you have to put it into proper perspective because it's not there to destroy you. It's only there to really help you see through the dark clouds or something like this. Like bringing you the type of strength you need to be that sovereign being that you're gonna have to be in the new dawn or something. Because there's no other way now. It's either you choose to, like you say, to stand on yourself and know what turns to take and know things, know this, know that, or continue to be led or misled or something like this. You see what I mean? You have to be able to, at some point, to trust in yourself fully, and that's the sovereignty. You see what I mean? To trust in yourself, to know what needs to be done, how to lead yourself and leading those that are under your supervision and stuff like this, like your immediate family or something like this. And the only thing you can do that is it's by basically allowing yourself to go through the hardship that life is throwing at you, not to destroy you, but to help you get there. You see what I mean? Safety or something like that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. That was answered very well. You basically covered all three of those areas. Totally, yeah. From moving from the childish to the serious, and I like your take on your approach as to really you said, like, if I go back and listen to this recording, the amount of times that you spoke of the self and the being is you're really getting that out, like, to the collective, letting them know that, you know, everything you envision, everything you see, you feel is coming from you, and it's your responsibility to be able to
read it,
to read it correctly, and you can only do that once you're cleansed and yourself is present, which, you know, the vulnerability as well, which I wrote down here. Vulnerability is important, but only when the true self is visible. You know, that just came to my head. Like it has it's necessary when your true self is available at the forefront with you, when you're in sync with your true self. Like vulnerability can be a great opportunity to new things in your life. You know, being yourself, being open. You know, if you're constantly enclosed, I'm very sure that a lot of the opportunities that came your way, you may not have taken. There's many opportunities that I could have had in my life that, due to my lack of awareness, I was enclosed, and you know, I don't like to say took the wrong choices, because there is no wrong choice. The more and more I'm realizing this, the more it's just, you know, yeah, there are no wrong choices. It's just whether one choice may take me longer to get to that place to where I want to be, and another choice will get me there in a slightly more comfortable, or if not more comfortable, manner. So, and I can honestly say that truthfully, that all of that comes back to self. You know, it comes back to my sense of knowing, truly knowing who I am, to be able to even project my reality out correctly and achieve whatever it is that I'm trying to do, one footstep at a time. So,
you know, one thing, as you say that, sorry to cut you off though, like to know oneself, you see, sometimes it's a simple understanding that gets you there, you see what I mean? And the way we're supposed to understand, to know the self, is basically the same as saying, like, there's the mind there's the brain knowing, the mind of the brain knowing, and the heart knowing. And the self, it's most of the time we seek to know the self through this mind. You see what I mean? And we're lost. You see what I mean? It's basically it's a aha moment somehow. It's not a knowing you can explain. It's not a knowing you can describe or something like that. It's simply an acceptance of the self.
It's a feeling.
Yeah, it's a feeling. You accept that that's what it is. Because it's everything. How can you explain it? It's everything you know and everything you don't know in one. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, except that you only can accept it, and then just with the acceptance, just be yourself. Like, in no way you can explain. You can only be it. You see what I mean? And that being, and this is where the sovereignty come in, because you will realize, like, okay, like everything you do now it may not be too much for you, but those that are watching, they seeing a lot of power in your being and stuff like this, and you may not even know, you see, but they will see it, and they don't understand how it's happening, except that you're just completely in love with yourself and trusting yourself, and like somehow knowing yourself. But it's like I say, it's a different knowing. It's not that knowing that most of the time we seek to explain it to ourselves.
Logic.
You see what I mean? Like, okay, who am I? And we expect an answer, you see, but there's no answer. You see?
Well, I'm with you, and you know, to appreciate, to top the answer that you just explained there even more, it's ludicrous for any of us to even attempt to try and figure out who we are. If our time cycle from a young age has been built upon an emotional build-up. So if you've been taught emotions that are not correctly in line or not in tune, like, or you've been taught things throughout your time cycle and you've never had the opportunity to even step back and go, okay, what is this? Does this fit for me? Is it fit for purpose, etc.? And a lot of us don't have that opportunity to do that, and you still taking on board these emotional ideas, or what you think is whatever it may be, love or hate or whatever you want to call it. That's it. Isn't that just a definition of insanity? Isn't that just being crazy because you're just not taking no responsibility for anything that you do? It's almost very robotic. The coding's just completely incorrect how you're moving. but yet you've got the audacity to attempt to think you know how to. It's just, I don't even want to finish that because it's not even worth finishing that sentence because it's just it made no sense, does it? It's like, come on.
I know. But you will go there, like, because of most of the time, you know, the movies kind of, you know, and the stuff that we watch, the programming that we have, it somehow try to explain these things to us in a way, you know, like even the books, you see, like giving the God's characters, and if we don't get to make the distinction, then, you know, all that can completely throw us off to the main thing. And the other thing I want to say about the self again is the minute that you ask this question and you think you don't know, or you think you need to know, is the time that you lost the knowing. You see what I mean? It's the same as when you're in a dream. If you're in a dream and you lucid dreaming and stuff like this, and then you start seeing certain things and you want to be able to remember them, or questioning what you're seeing in the dream, you have to access the mind. And within the mind, once you access the mind within the dream, right then and there you lose the dream in the second. It's the same thing with the being as well. It's the only thing that you are. You see, I mean, there's nothing else. So once you thinking outside of it, about it, then you already disconnect yourself, and the knowing kind of stray far away from you from then. The minute that you think that way, that's why it's so we basically have to be careful. Like you see, most of the people, you know, like they really think they would read about the self, they would do this, they would do that, and then they think they're gonna get understanding. But the first knowing is it's the intuition, you see. And whatever outside of that is like I had to do in my own journey. I went within first, forcefully. I can't take credit with it because it was like, I didn't even choose not to have a mother. I wish to have my mother with me at time. I wish to have my father with me at time. But except that it wasn't happening. You see what I mean? So now I had to live with it. And then because of that, my journey forced me to just go within myself. And then this is why it's safe for me now. It's because I went within first, then on the outside. Because once you have the path within, then outside is only a replica of that. You can put the connections. You see what I mean? Like, because it's already within. But when you go without now, you may never find your way back to stuff. Because the more you go out, the more the path is divided. You see, I mean, you just like the cells. You see, you will study the smallest atom, part of the cells, the atom, to realize that it's continually dividing itself. You see, you can never really know it all once you go on the outside. So you just gotta accept from within. You see what I mean? That's basically the best thing we can tell anyone. You know, on our journey is the best thing we can tell.
Yeah, I've got a little post. Got a little piece here. I'm just going to read it out for us and the viewers. It's from a website called humanityhealing.net. The title is Principle of Spiritual Sovereignty. The Principle of Spiritual Sovereignty. I'll read it out and then you can just take your take on it. But I thought it was quite a nice little piece. The concept of sovereignty may be well known when it is applied to the realms of a government, or to territorial dominions of a state or a country, but it is less known as a spiritual concept that permeates one of the fundamental birthrights into the human experience, the right to be a sovereign being. To be sovereign is to be able to withhold the responsibility consciously from your acts through the expressing of the many aspects of the uniqueness of your soul and the realities that you are helping co-create. It is one of the most valuable concepts that precedes the efforts of the path of self-mastery. It does not, however, affirm an individual's superiority about another being, or reinforces your right to have your experiences and to consciously limit the interference of others into your reality, both internal and external. All souls come with a life program and a series of life contracts to be played out in the current lifetime. The contracts are as diverse as the roles we have programmed to play as individuals on this planet. One may have chosen to play the simultaneous roles of a mother, sister, daughter, granddaughter, wife, friend, etc. Every contract comes with particular aspects to be worked out. But despite their differences, none can overrule one's sovereignty as an individual or interfere with his free will. Spiritual sovereignty is not a divisive concept. It is one that reinforces the right to your individuality. The interesting aspect to be mentioned is that we are not separated from source, and ultimately an extension of God's life. We are still autonomous, not separated per se, but autonomous in the selection of quality and intensity of our life experiences. In brackets, if grass grows and withers, it can only mean that it is part of a greater thing, which is even more real. Not that the grass is less than it looks. St. Thomas Aquinas has a logical right to say, in the words of the modern mystic A.E., I begin by the grass to be bound again to the Lord. This is a very important point because the divine source has allowed you to come into existence in a dimensional matrix of duality to play your life plan using the gift of free will. God has consigned your soul with authorities to create your life experiences according to the thoughts and beliefs you have in your mind. In the same thought, you are responsible for the quality of your life experiences. None is predetermined to a point where you are stripped of your personal divine power and transformed into a being that flows on the ebb tide of destiny. To be sovereign is to be free. It is important in the process to affirm your sovereignty so that you develop a watchful attitude to identify the demands of your ego, because to be completely free, one must realize that they are not. But freedom is also recognizing the interference of other beings in your energy field, limiting you in your potential intentions and life purpose. So I hope you got a lot out of that. Well, I quite liked it. I read it. Wow.
Yes. But we mentioned basically what we were saying, me and you at first. It goes right back to it again, like just like you said, the individual right to be itself. You see, I mean, for the spirit to express itself, without no one infringing upon its right to do so. You see what I mean? So that's the thing. But my thing, basically, knowing and being aware, like I said, like having the knowing without knowing. You see, like not a knowing that you are told, but the feeling that the time will come where everyone has to be themselves or something like that. So the thing is, basically, since I was already aware of that time, years prior to the now, then what I realized more and more as I'm coming into it and more people are becoming aware of it or something, I realized that the world, like the those that control, basically, like that control everything somehow, they always used to put in the books, like the scriptures talking about the sleeping beast. And the sleeping beast, more and more we realizing it's us, the humans, that's been put on the servitude and being to slavery and this and that. Like whether black, white, or Chinese, everyone experienced slavery to some degree. Even up to today, people, whether they believe it or not, they are still under, under some sort of service or something like that. So the thing is, they realize they created a monster doing that, because the human being, that spirit, is not meant to be serving anything or anyone, against its own will or something like that. It's a misuse of the energy, you see. And once you do that, then you create a monster in that process. So now you're gonna allow the ego to grow some sort of need to be free, you see. So when the ego feel the need to be free now, which is what's happening today, this is when it's time for us to be free for the good aspects of the freedom, so that we can help the planet. Then we will find ourselves going after things that were already the problem, like now most people want to be free to be what? To whatever they want to do. Like, you know, I don't even need to mention, like some will say, okay, they to get the beautiful cars, to get this, to get that, many women, many houses, many that, blah, blah, blah. To them, they think that's what freedom is about. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because the way the ego been, you know, manipulated. So now within it, you know, grew certain desires, you know, that are, you know, very small to what the spirit really needs or something like that. And this is where you always feel empty, even the more you have these things you think you desire or something. And this is why I say and I chose to go with love, because we are love, basically. We are love. We are all built on love or something like this. And I like to say the anagram for earth, which is our foundation or something like this, is when you flip the letters, it gives you heart. Earth gives you heart. And the heart projects love or something like that. So we have to love, and we say love is understanding, and understanding means you understand each other. You understand that every individual has the right to have their own say and in their own life, in their own lives at least, or they have to have the freedom. You know, you have to understand every human being needs the freedom to be themselves and stuff like this. But at the same time, before the freedom would come, let's take the children, basically. Children, they are the Kali spirit somehow. In that space, like Sevan explained it so well in the Kali thing, I was working closely with them on this project. So what it is like basically on the Kali, having worked with the project, editing, helping with the edit, I get to really sponge in what he was talking about. So he mentioned the babies are basically the Kali in its purest form. That's why the baby is so dangerous to itself and everyone around it. You leave the fire, that the baby will put the whole house on fire, with mother, father, everybody included. You see what I mean? And the baby really don't care, except that they're really here to experience. They're gonna touch, they're gonna taste, they're gonna really experience things without thinking about it. And this is basically the minute that we have to somehow keep them safe by, you know, always put them in the crib like a little jail for them, or put them in the playpen or somewhere, always, you know, contained somehow. So because the spirit, when it doesn't have the guide within itself, able to guide itself, then you have to make sure you keep it safe by safeguarding it in a corner or whatever it is, until it is able to understand what is the fire, what is the water. Do not go in the swimming pool if you don't know how to swim. Do not go down the stairs if you don't walk properly yet. They don't, the baby don't know these things. So now as they are growing up and experiencing, then we are giving them more and more freedom to be themselves. So the thing is nowadays, I see it's the same thing too. I see that we have to deal with the ego with that same thing. And that's why I like to take the ego and use the analogy of the child to speak on the ego. The ego in the equation is the child. You see what I mean? So nowadays, many people, they do not respect their neighbors. They don't know what love is. They've been programmed to really trust hate and not trust the other and not trust love. And because the loving one dies first and all of this type of programming or something like this. So now being the danger that we are, imagine us having freedom to be dangerous to our world, to be this, to be that. You see what I mean? That's why us who have better understanding, we have a lot to do, a lot of work, and mostly that work comes in the speech, how we speak, you know, because everything starts with the word. You see what I'm saying? So we have to understand freedom, though it is good, it also has a downside to it if we are coming into it with the wrong understanding,
100%.
wrong desires. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, because that's why I find it so important for me to speak on love so much, to allow people to understand. Before you can even afford that freedom, you have to first understand who you are and see yourself in your neighbor to the point where you would never hurt that neighbor. You see what I mean? Because the thing is, like, if you cannot be on that level to be that loving, then truly you are far from freedom or something like this. And that's how I had to somehow see the positive side of why the 1%, because everything that happens, the universe really don't care about 1%, 99%. The universe is not seeing it that way, except that it's seeing one, complementing the other. You see what I'm saying? So the 1% now being the one who is mature enough, though he may not be using the power properly, but who is to say somebody else, if you're not controlling yourself properly, who's to say that anything outside of you is gonna be to your liking? And this is why we have to make sure that we become that mature, so that no maturity outside of us is relevant to us. You see what I mean? Because we are able to maintain ourselves and to respect ourselves, respect each other and love each other and do the right thing at all time, or something like this. You see what I mean? And this is why it's basically, I am for the freedom. We need freedom. We are free anyway within ourselves. You see what I mean? But first we have to get there, you see, and we cannot jump to it, because in New York, Ziki, recently, some sisters, you see, I believe Puerto Rican and some black ones, some white one, for lack of a better word, or something like that, they wanted to show freedom. Oh, we have to be able to be free. And then they just got naked and go to Times Square and then showing their nakedness and their breasts, thinking, okay, that's what freedom is about. You see what I mean? So that's why we're always going to have a misunderstanding of things unless we truly, because freedom is not something we can buy. It's something that surrounds us, just like ourselves, just like abundance. These things are not something to acquire, something somewhere to go and get.
It's there,
surrounds you. You see what I'm saying? You just got to attune yourself. You see what I mean? Like, align yourself with it, and then that's it. And freedom it's there, you see? Like, that's why I always like to say we are witch or something like this. Why? Because we are able to be free, you see, but it's something that you will give yourself, but we have to be real with ourselves, knowing, like me, myself, at some point, the main thing you will find myself do is questioning, am I ready? But I will never really jump and say, I am ready. I will question that I am, but not question, not say that I am. You see what I mean? Because I always want to make sure, like, to be these powers, you have to, like even the movie Spider-Man say, with great powers come great responsibility. You just gotta have to understand the responsibility that come with these powers somehow. And that's why most of us, we want the freedom. We already are free. It's like the ha-ha moment again. Okay, so who gave you that freedom except that you took it? And how did you take it? You felt like you were ready for it. Just like we always say, the master shows up when the student is ready. Freedom will show up the minute that we're ready for it. Abundance will show up the minute we're ready for it. Everything gonna show up because it's already there waiting for you. It's seeking you as you are seeking it.
And we become in sync with it, for sure. Definitely.
Exactly. So that's why I so focus on the love, because it's important. I see Ziki, and Ziki said to me, "That's right now, Ziki. I'm doing everything against the norm somehow. Like, you see, most people will tell me, oh, you do this. No, I see Ziki, and he wants to do a live with me. I don't know what good can come out of that. Why would I turn that down? You see what I'm saying? I want to be able to do this freely, and then just like, okay, without thinking about it. You see what I mean? Just be. You see, you trust yourself, and if in himself he sees the need to collaborate and stuff, I have to trust that he knows what he's doing and why he's doing it. And then I have to just allow myself to collaborate and do things. And that's how I've been living for the past few years. You see, I mean, trusting the process. Just live, just be.
Yeah, for sure. I resonated with your work, and like I shared, like,
indeed.
I follow your path. I've been following your path, and it's naturally just putting off. I don't know what the correct word for it. It's clearly it was a catalyst in itself, and it was like, I need to engage with this guy a little bit more, and create a more tether, align with yourself, and allow, because the way it works is, this will branch onto other people that want to share and move towards what we are talking about, and that's the idea. Like, I'm learning more and more that actually, whatever I do learn or engage in, I don't want to possess it. I have to let it go, because once I let it go, that's when I have power. I have more power of myself. If I keep having possessions, as you call it, it dampens me down. So to grow and to let go is very important, allowing that cyclical
very important
place. So just a few things I wanted to touch base on, and then we'll move forward. You spoke on the ego, and I think our ego is our friend, and it is most definitely rewired in the incorrect way. Once mastered and in sync, and we become in sync with our ego, it works perfectly in this realm. Without the ego, we're vegetables, so we need the ego.
You need it.
Nurtured. It needs to be nurtured.
Indeed.
And I just had this thought of the earth and the spiritual realm, and it's almost like there's a masculine, feminine thing, or there is a thing going on there. And I wrote this down. I was just thinking that the earth and all the stars and planets have this connection with the spiritual realm, and our earth in particular has given itself to the spiritual realm and births our bodies, plants, stuff to hold. So, I mean, talking about the humans, for example, the earth has allowed the spiritual realm to, almost like it's a masculine, to inject itself into the earth, and the earth has birthed bodies. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So like this, there's a mutual agreement going on there. There's a cyclical cycle, and it's very, you touch base on recognizing that, you know, we have to really do take responsibility for our actions and what we're, how we're moving. So, you know, this agreement that's been given to us, need to really, it's almost like there should be a book for it. There shouldn't, but there should. It's almost, we should be taught this.
Indeed.
The natural laws, etc., and then we should be engaged in our reality accordingly. Also,
so what we do is, like, basically, I would, instead of even telling you more on this, let me tell you one thing. You just put in your mind, like, and that goes for the audience and as well, like, knowing that we need to be sovereign. It's time for it, and it's, you know, we need to be ourselves. We need to be free, and that. And just knowing your reality right now and where the people's minds are they ready, or something like this? Keeping it real with yourself, and then the whole thing will come to your mind. You meditate on that. You see what I mean? And then you will see, I don't know if we're ready. You see what I mean? We should have been. We should have been indeed. But are we? You see what I'm saying? Then this is why you see, now you see, Ziki, everybody's going after the knowledge at the moment. They all want to know something. They all want, you see people, especially on YouTube, talking about great science and this and that and that, but going further away from what truly matters, themselves.
Yes.
Because all this knowledge you're talking about, what is it going to, you know, how is it going to bring you to where you need to be? Because there's more to know if you only knew where you're going. You see what I'm saying? So why not just focus on what truly matters? You being what you need to be, so that these things, these tools that surround you, can be put to proper use or something like that. You see what I mean?
Yes.
That's why I think we basically waste time on ourselves when we do that. You see what I mean? Though it's, all roads lead to Rome. I'm saying wherever you go, like you said earlier, wherever we go, we're gonna go back to self, except it may take us longer, certain way. You see what I'm saying? But it's still gonna get. But the thing is, like, the fastest way is to just go to the self. That's it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. It makes
yourself ready, and you see.
It makes so much sense, Vlad. And, you know, going back on the talk of, you know, it's another piece here I wrote, and I was just thinking that, you know, it's something that you touch base on, that we really are in a age where the masses are in a childlike state. And you were talking to, sort of touching base on how the child acts, and I was just thinking of certain things that are giveaways. You know, I could talk about social, particular types of movies that come out, war. You know, if you think of how a child acts, like you shared, a child will burn a house down without realising, childishly.
Yeah, I realize.
Look at war in this day and age. Look at war.
Same thing, yes.
That's childish, really.
Yes, very childish, indeed.
Multiple, and there's no diss on it at all, but multiple ideas of religion. My understanding is that there's clearly a platform for all of us that fits all of us because we are all one. It's like, get with the alignment. Like having 101 ideas is allowing for 101 flaws, or 100 flaws at least. There's a way. It's very important that we should be introduced to the way, and then if anyone wants to apply anything, that's up to them. That's fine. That's no problem. But there's definitely a platform for all. The idea of synthetic food, this is going off a bit, but for example, if you had a baby, you know, and you saw your baby eating glue or plasticine or something, Play-Doh, you're gonna go, don't eat that. Oh, take that away, isn't you? So why is there so much synthetic food in the world? Because that's childish again, isn't it?
Yes.
Just, you know, I can carry on just synthetic currency, I like to call it, you know, wasting your energy, things that just don't, there's no cyclical cycle, it's linear, so you're bursting it, your output of energy is constantly going out, you get nothing back. You know, that's why you have your little baby, the baby when he's running around, acting all wild, and then when it doesn't get what it wants, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like with the things, like I see, like what you say is many speak on this or something like this. They would say it's because they want to keep us down somehow. Because though they know, like it's in the scriptures and all books that, you know, the sleeping beast will wake up, and as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So the thing, meaning whoever was in control and ruling the planet, they should and they must come back to bring it back to balance again once more, or something like this. But the thing is, like, it's now the ego who's used to the power and somehow addicted to the power, who's not willing to let go. You see what I'm saying? Something like this. And this is why they seek to, you know, keep us down in a way, like keep us there so that we never become mature enough. You see what I'm saying? To mature enough to the point where everyone will realize, oh, we need the police, we need the army, we need everything they offer, regardless of what may be going on with them or something like this. But they are the one keeping us somehow from killing each other, or this and that. Because the thing is, like, we are aware, but we still have to allow ourselves to see that it's all our choices. You see what I mean? Like knowing what we are supposed to do, knowing what we're supposed to eat, knowing what we're not supposed to eat. And let's say even the food cannot stop us from being ourselves. You see what I mean? Because when I'm speaking on these things, I speak on it from experience point of view. You see what I mean? Because I've been eating the meat, I've been eating this, I've been eating that. You see, not advocating it, but just to keep it real, to show people, not to give anyone any excuse that, oh, I eat meat, maybe that's why I cannot meditate. Maybe that's why. No, you can do all of these things because you're not really, the body doesn't have that much control over the spirit to the degree that the mind believes it. You see what I'm saying? If your mind, you won't have no more than what the mind believes. You see what I'm saying? If you believe that you can't do it because of the meat, then you won't. Not because you can't, but because you believe you can. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, it doesn't matter what, that's why the Bible even say it, no weapons formed against you shall prosper. Because it's all about you, your perspective, you know, what do you believe, how much power you think it has, or something like that over you. It's all the mind. You see what I mean? So that's why I don't tend to give that much power to the outside. Because I recognize I am the strongest, I am the worst enemy, I am the best friend, I am this, I am that we are. You see what I mean? Regardless of what the outside is doing. That's why I don't join the people that seek to fight the powers that be or the powers on the outside, because the best way to conquer them is within yourself. Because whatever you see outside is what inside is projecting. You see what I'm saying? There's the same war going on within the mind and the heart. The heart cannot speak without the mind judging it and trying to tame the voice of the heart. Or spirit cannot come out and say anything without the ego in the way. Or the war going on within you all the way. And then it keeps on happening on the outside. You see what I mean? And I don't really push anyone to go outside at all. Every time we go outside, I always try to pull it back in. Because this is where the power lies. You see what I'm saying? That's where it is. We should not think. You see, most of the people, tell me, Ziki, how many people, how long have we going out with banners and protesting and that, and we still just going on the wheel, like in circle and go back to the same thing. You see what I mean?
And that cyclical cycle, that cyclical energy is I was gonna say is organic, is synthetically organic to the powers that be. They've got it in a cycle where they
benefit more than we.
It goes back to them, but the energy, like I shared, is linear for us. People burst in energy and get nothing back.
You get nothing.
They don't realize that they're just
wasting time, basically. You see what I mean? And this is why he has to go back within. And that's why I do understand, okay, the chemtrails. But once I see these things, because the minute that you start feeling them, there goes your energy going down.
Exactly.
There goes your power leaving you. You see what I mean? You just got to see it, be aware, and then just keep within. And then know that what you got to do yourself. If you have to ground yourself, the simple things, you see what I mean? Go in and take a sun bath, or do the meditation and the fasting and all of these things. You just gotta keep yourself spiritually strong, because it's all mind anyway. Once you know you're doing it, then it's in your mind, then it's gonna affect your reality somehow. You see what I'm saying? So that's why people gotta start trusting themselves more and more. And knowing that there's no power on the outside, really, except that, anything you see outside is something that you either create for yourself subconsciously to protect you from yourself. But the thing is, like, is it really gonna be to your liking? Not really, because it's doing a job that you shouldn't need to be done. You see what I mean? Let's say the control somehow. Our communities are infested with police, let's say. Why? Because it's so easy for us to get mad at each other. Oh, you look at my girl, I wanna shoot you. You step on my shoes, I wanna shoot you. So there goes the police having relevance. You see what I'm saying? But the thing is, like, who can give them that relevance? We do.
Yes.
Because if crime goes down, what is the job of the police? The best they're gonna have to do is to create some sort of issues, to bring the crime back up, to give them
and they wouldn't do that, would they? They wouldn't do that.
You see what I mean? But that's the thing. They would have to, come out and find a way to, because there goes we again. They have to manipulate us, but who are they manipulating? Us. They have to make us do something in order to give themselves something to
keep that cycle going.
But
they don't get no energy.
Who they get to do it? Us. So that means if we don't do it, then you see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's what it is.
We need to learn to be the missing link.
Basically, you see? Like, just accepting the responsibility, knowing ourselves, knowing why we even exist, and all of these things will help us, realizing that we have a job to do, and, like, we have a life to live, basically. You see what I mean?
Going back to the natural laws, going back to our birth-given rights, our natural laws, and that's not, when I say this, once we start recognizing it more and more, we'll recognize that actually we're not even going against the grain of anything. Actually, we're just, like you shared, we're being what we're supposed to be. There is no black scar or anything on actually attempting the training, the thought process and the ideology that you're following, or being a clean, spiritual, as well as human, if you want to call it that, in this realm, being, it's such an important aspect. And, another thing that you shared was the act of not being a judge. You know, I read that there. We've learned somehow over time not to be the judge, as in not to even take ownership and be able to go, okay, what is this? Why am I doing this? Why does this create this action? Do I agree with this? We don't even register anything like that. We almost just take things on board and then just deal with it. And if we don't like
analyzing things, yes.
Do you know what I mean? So again, that's just insanity in itself, you know, but I think we touched base on a lot of that. I want to touch base a little bit more on the spiritual awakening side of things. So maybe you want to touch base on I've got a little piece here. I'll read this out quickly and then I'll let you just jump on how you approach your spiritual approach, your daily approaches, your just how you get down with trying to embark on heightening your awareness, or more than your awareness, your being. How are you allowing yourself to be grounded and just allowing your energy to flow correctly, because everything is an input out, you know. And I'm learning more that by withholding my energy has its benefits, but I'm learning it's almost like a cycle. I have to be willing and aware to allow my energy to flow out as well. So for example, if you're someone who makes a lot of money but doesn't like to let it go, then that cycle is not cyclical, because your output is expansive and your reward is money. But for the cycle to rotate, the energy going past the synthetic currency, that cycle needs to be repetitive. You can't work and take on something that's not even real, for example, you know what I mean? Because it's not real. You need to be able to create a cycle, so to work and then to earn, to build. Do you know what I mean? You need to be able to put the cycle into place. So I'll read this quickly. Spiritual awakening is becoming an increasingly common occurrence upon normal everyday people. Once the privilege of sages and saints, many are now seeking and finding enlightenment. But there is more to the spiritual journey than just awakening. Along the way to that ultimate goal, we have the chance and the choice to evolve both our souls and our human selves. Indeed, we must grow in addition to awakening if we want to know true wholeness. This is an integral approach to awakening that does not deny the inventiveness of our human minds, the desires of our human hearts, the expression of our individual souls. How do we grow? ? We can start by becoming more conscious wherever we are on the journey right now. We don't need to wait for awakening to transform us. What we do and who we become along the way to realization matters. There's a little bit more on here as well that I'll talk a little bit on after, but yeah, the spiritual journey is very difficult. Maybe that's the wrong word to say, difficult. Maybe we're wired up incorrectly. So no, it's not difficult. It becomes...
You want to say challenging?
Challenging, but yeah, possibly in the fact that this is an example. I've seen many individuals, I'm not dissing them because they're obviously doing something right.
Of course.
I've seen many people in different businesses that are, especially in the spiritual side of things, where they have earned a heavy residual income, which is fine. By doing what they do, whatever, yoga, whatever, it's all good, it's fine. But no, take that back, not yoga, but they do particular jobs that might not be hugely beneficial to, say, the earth, for example.
Yes.
They try to counterbalance what they do by introducing spiritual things like yoga or certain meditational practices, which is absolutely fine. There's no diss to it. But my point being is that cyclical cycle on creating a spiritual journey. How do you create clean or a cleaner spiritual journey? Because recognizing that karma will be built on how you, this is how I feel, think about it. Your karmic approach will affect you accordingly. If it's not cyclical enough, if it's very linear and it's not coming back to you in a creative flow, your karma's going to come back quite troubling. It's in the sense that you're creating something that doesn't work. It's like trying to have a car with square wheels. Eventually it'll go round, but it's going to be rocky. So that karmic flow is going to be odd. So from a spiritual point of view, how do you enable a creative flow for you to be able to work with and share with others at the same time?
Basically, I would say it goes back to the trust in self, meaning you listen to yourself, because at all time, for every point in the journey, there's always going to be the guide, which all you have to do, we just got to make sure to sit with ourselves for every decisions we have to make or everything we need to create from a point on. You know what I mean? To see, because most of the time, everything we need to do already there. And it's been in our vicinity, it's been around us. Sometimes we don't even know what we're looking at until we start asking ourselves the specific question. You see what I mean? Like, okay, I need to do this. All right, I need to create a flow of income for myself. And what do I do? And this and that. And then you will find the answers are around you. And if they were not, or something, it will come to you or something like this. Me, myself, when I was looking for such a thing, I realized that, okay, the first thing is to work for myself, you see? And like this is leaving completely the corporate world. Though I may be attached to it, but on a very virtual level, you see what I mean? Meaning I can do it anywhere I am. That's the type of work I want to do. Why? Because I want to be able to be free to travel, to be at, if I choose to be home and stuff like this, because I feel better there or something like this, and not being too connected with that, because everyone you meet, their energy is going to affect you somehow. When you want to keep the energy clear so that you don't get confused by at your path, then there's a lot of sacrifices that's going to have to be done. You see what I mean? So then you will, and this is why I would always push those, you know, in that position to partner with Sevan. You know what I mean? Because Sevan, for everything that we will need, we ever need, is already ahead awaiting us. You see what I'm saying? And then I realized I met Sevan for that specific purpose. Why? Because in his journey, he already came to that crossroad where he needed to create a way for himself, you know, financially, to sustain himself and sustain his giving back to humanity or something like this. And that same thing now is replicating and then allowing more people to come and then invest in. That's why many people who may have known him may be against certain things, or like somehow they expect someone of this caliber, spiritual understanding, to be perfect somehow. But you really don't want a perfect human being. You can't handle a perfect human being, to tell you the truth.
What is perfect?
So that's the thing. Sometimes it's like it takes great guts. Sometimes we can be that perfect, but why be that perfect? Because the best thing is to level to the ones that you are trying to guide or help or lead or show some light or something. The level is more important. And this is why even in telemarketing, you will find people will say, oh, I was broke. You see what I mean? To level. First, they create a common ground and then they give you the solution. You see what I mean? So that's how it is. Because that most of the time they question, why, with all your potential, why do you have to go on the Sevan? But I had to realize that it's not about me having my own platform, though we may have our own platforms, but still working in contingent with other people. You see what I'm saying? So I realized, exactly, I realized the type of work he's doing is basically what you were talking about right now. He's giving a karma free world idea. and he already created the platform. Many people is eating from the platform already. And there's so much potential in the platform. Right now, they are working on music videos. They are working on this. They are working on documentaries. They are just
to let everyone know. Sorry, just to let everyone know, it's all Matt Savon Boma, secretenergy.com. Very, very expansive. If you're not aware of it, you need to be involved. It's something that we both know. So please continue.
Yes, indeed. So that's what it is. That's why I always push it, because to me, it's not about competition. It has to be beyond competition. Because the competition is not going to serve us. Though we may compete in doing greater work for everyone. You see what I mean? Let's say you have this platform, you want to come with more hours or more time you give more time to it. That's in competition with me. Then that's positive competition. You see what I mean? That's a good thing. There's no hate. There's no nothing except that we are trying to give more. You see what I'm saying? But what will I offer my world or myself even going in competition with Savon? You see what I mean? Except that if he's already doing something already, the best thing I can do is to see how I can add to that. You see, let's make it our thing instead of his thing. You see, because there's so much potential in the togetherness, in the unity, and working together towards creating a better world for everyone or something like this. But if we keep on thinking it's about me, it's about this, and it's about that, then we're already losing the war. You see what I'm saying? And this is why it's a continuous decision, thing with the ego. It's like you have to always, it's not like, okay, I've reached a level, then that's it, and then now I'll go on to the pilot. No, you always have to analyze within yourself, whose voice are you listening to? Whose voice make the decisions of your actions? And you see what I'm saying? Because
needs a detox.
Basically, you see, not to go away from what you are, because it's basically exactly what you are asking about. It's just like this type of platform, and this is why I even invest time into them. And I even feel bad. I had to even ask if I'm, not that I wanted to, but I wanted to see how am I can I get some type of, not for myself, but to reinvest in Secret Energy again, like with the ambassador programs and this and that. I wanted to even somehow get paid for the type of things, not for myself, like I say. It was because I need a lot of, gigabytes of memories and this and that to save the stuff, and a lot of hours into the editing. And so I was worried about, okay, can I know, I'm doing this for the collective, but I need some type of personal assistance with this. You see what I mean? But I did feel bad even though I knew I had to do this. You see what I'm saying? I felt bad because I know it's not about me. It's mostly about, let's make sure we have something there to fall back on. You see what I mean? Because right now, more and more I realize why I had to trust my higher self in working together with Savon, is that he has the proper understanding on the crypto thing. He has proper understanding on the virtual world and this and that. And, more and more we are going virtual. You see what I mean? So if we do not support these type of brothers and these type of platforms who are able to bring about, alternative to Facebook and YouTube and stuff like this, then whatever happened or whatever, when we are being, sectioned or monitored or this and that, is going to be our fault. You see what I'm saying? Because we didn't provide the proper support, towards the channels that could have, provided the alternative to these. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is why we have to make sure, if it is on a, let's say, to answer that on a personal level, is basically just trusting somehow, because the answers are within you again. You just gotta know, okay, I need this now. I'm on this journey and I'm starting to awaken. I'm understanding things, and I don't want to give my time to the very thing that are destroying the planet. What should I do? You speak within yourself, because most of the time, the best answer anyone to help anyone can be is to always give back the power to the one who asks. You see what I mean? To allow them to start trusting more in themselves. It's not always having the answer. It's always, the best answer is to show the person how to get the answer themselves. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the best way to do that is just, focusing on yourself, and then like realizing the need that you have for the moment, and then be silent enough, long enough, so that you can get the answer out of yourself, because he already exists anyway. Because whatever I would say, it may not make sense to what's going on in your life at the moment. It may not be possible to what's going on. That's why the best is to help you, give you the tools to see for yourself what it is that needs to be done. And that's why even Savon did the same thing somehow, by saying the uniqueness, find your uniqueness. It may be something that you already been doing. Because the thing is, like, it's just finding something that's not out there. And this is you. You the only one out there that is you. So whatever you have to offer, whatever, that your journey give you of some type of skills and this and that, you can put it and mix it with your very being, and then create something new. And then with that something new, there goes how would I say, your door, or your way towards your abundance and this and that, or whatever you want, or freedom or sovereignty, from the workforce and this and that, or whatever it is. You see what I mean? Yeah. But basically, we are working, like even this channel, like Seven is doing. My channel is basically for that. Like, say, every brother you see in collaboration with you. Because the thing is that we just have to trust that whatever we are doing is already going towards it. The minute we have the intention. You see what I'm saying? Once we trust in ourselves and our heart is in the right place, whatever we are doing from there is going towards that goal. Whatever that heart desires from the moment. You see what I'm saying? And now I'm seeing it in a way, because I chose this platform, because if I had a cell phone store, still, how many people could I have hired that are on the journey? Because having a cell phone store is not going to be about where are you on your journey. Mostly it's going to be about how can you serve my store. It's more of a personal thing. But when it comes to this type of platform, so now I can focus on what matters most. You see, your spiritual growth, or stuff like this. And let's say many people right now, I'm working together with, though they will get my service, like helping them promote their products. And who are they? People on that journey. You see what I mean? Because I only focus on those that are seeking sovereignty, like financial sovereignty or something like this, and then see how I can use my platform to assist that. You see what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I say, if you will find me sharing certain things about them. But all that is left to be done now, Ziki, is to allow themselves to see it as such. You see what I mean? Like, sometimes you may invite someone to make you understand where I'm at. You may invite someone on the platform, and to the degree of where they are and the shows that they've been on TV, and sometimes you may find them hard to call your platform a show. Why? Because they've been on a show and they think, you're not serious about it, so they don't want to call it a show. But the only reason the other shows have the power is because in your mind, you give it that power. You see what I mean? Right. So how about you just respect it and accept it for what Ziki called it, a podcast, a show, or this, or that. Because wherever that show is or that podcast is, doesn't mean that's where he can stay. You see what I mean? It's all about who's dealing with it, and the people, are they powerful enough to make it something greater? You see what I'm saying? Because the thing is, like, we just gotta trust that we are the tools. We are the value that is added to anything we do. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever we are doing already, it already holds the potential to give us whatever it is that we are doing.
Yeah.
This, what you're doing right now, if you meditate and then you put the intention behind it, then you're gonna find the universe bring you certain people, like even what I'm saying to you right now. Let's say some may not understand it now. A few years later, they will get to see what I was talking about from today. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But the main thing is that you focus on what you are doing right now, which is the podcast, and with all its potential, you're gonna see the universe bringing the people like that. Not only gonna bring enough following to it, And then the following, now you'll be able to monetize on it or turn it towards some things or raise money using the following and all of these things. You see what I'm saying? The only thing is having the intention, and then having the desire, and then after that, just let things be. Being yourself and continue whatever it is that you're already doing. Like this right now, it's nothing to do with bad karma. It's completely dharma.
Yeah.
So why not give it the full attention?
For
you
sure.
see, and if we are already doing certain things out there, you see that is not contributing to the health of the planet, then with the intention to leave that alone, if we don't have the strength to just completely leave it because of what's going on, we need to pay the bills, we need to do that, then, there's no wrong in that, except that we have the proper intention to leave it, and then we are working like on something else as well to make sure that we pave the way to, to make something else happen or something like that. You see what I mean? It's all about the intention, basically. You see, you just know that, okay, it's my work. Let's say I'm a pilot and I'm spraying the sky. My mother, my friends, everyone, I'm spraying them. So I want to that, or universe, you can call it God or whatever. Please help me do that because I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing. I'm hurting the planet. Because that alone already, is within you. It's Great Mother accepts that intention. You see what I'm saying? And then right away, you're already in the safe zone. And then you want to leave that. You see what I mean? You already want something else. And already you will find, except that whatever else you are doing is already the answer. You only thing you need to do is to give more value to it and understand that its full potential and what it can be and stuff like this. But you first have to believe in what it is. You see what I mean? And let that spill through to everyone else. You see what I mean? That's why I had to trust this. I do have people like my ex, people, saying that, oh, what are you doing? You give a lot of time in this, you get the 9 to 5, you get this. Because we all go through the same thing. And to some degree, we want to answer, like we want to do what they're forcing us to do. But what they are forcing us to do, we realize that it's not really, that's not going to help them. It's not going to help us, except maybe for the time being. You see what I mean? But it's not going to really safeguard the future for us because we are only going with the flow. You see what I mean? And sovereignty goes when you're comfortable going outside of the flow and creating your own flow. You see what I'm saying? And that doesn't come easy. You see what I mean? But what is it now I'm doing? Everything I'm doing right now, more and more, I'm seeing the potential. You see what I'm saying? More and more. But at first, very humble beginning. People did not believe. People did not trust. People were thinking that I'm wasting time. But it's in you. No one can see the vision but yourself. You see what I mean? And especially if it's already grander than yourself. It's bigger than everyone. You're trying to give back. You're trying to pave a way. You see what I mean? Like, and that's why all I'm doing right now is partnering with different people on their journey. Like if you have any business you're doing, I will send you an email or send you a messenger telling you, okay, this is how I can access your business. And then you help me with this, I help you with that, this and that. It's all a blueprint I'm creating. Most people may not even be aware of that. But every action, that's what sovereignty is about. Every action, has an intention. You see what I mean? And most of the intention, most of them may not even see. To the degree, Ziki, I invited certain people that I believe what they talk about. Inviting them for what? Just so that I can open my channel to them as a new channel, so they can be seen and known and broaden their views and stuff like this, right? Because I believe in their teaching. But sometimes they may have a wife, or one of them have a wife who would looking out for the husband, saying, oh, you can't keep doing an interview without getting paid. You have to say, okay, $200 an hour, blah, blah, blah. And then he turned it down. But the brother is not even on anymore right now. Why? Because that was the wrong decision. Because when someone like myself come, I'm not seeing the money. Because that's what people don't understand. When I'm not making it about the money, I let you come on the platform to say something, and then you see money. Then me, myself, what do you force me to do? To see money too. You see what I mean? Like, okay, I'm opening right now, viewers are what? Are basically money now. You see what I mean? According to the digital world. You see what I mean? So someone allow you to see, every share, every like, and this and that is basically giving power to your platform or something like that. But when you say, if you cannot see money beyond the paper, then you're in trouble, because the paper is disappearing more and more. You see what I mean? That's the thing. They have to start seeing value in other things. You see what I mean? Like
free currency,
You see what I mean? Understanding what money is. Instead of seeing it from the one thing that you've been taught to see it from. You see what I mean? And this is why I feel so bad for the people not being able to see the potential in this type of work that we are trying to do, and why we put so much time. Like Seven himself, recently he was celebrating 100,000 views. How long is it he's been on? 10 years. And he said for like 3 years, going 4 years, like he's getting 10 views in a video, on a video, this and that. He thought of giving up. Most people tell him to give up, this and that. People curse him out. People judge him. All of these things. You see what I mean? All those challenges and stuff like that. But he kept on. You see? Then now, look, the platform went beyond what he expected. Right now, he has so many people having to help him now to keep up or something like that. You see what I mean? Why? Because the minute you have the intention, the whole universe already conspired to give you exactly what you need. The thing is that we just gotta trust that that's what it is. You see what I mean? Because you never without it, or something like this. You always with it. You always have everything you need at all times. Like right now, I realize that I turn down certain opportunities because I do not want my need or my little mundane needs to make big decisions. You see what I mean? That's why I say, I see certain opportunities. Some people may say, oh my God, how could you pass that? But I pass it because of why I felt like I needed it. I really don't like making decisions based on survival or something like that. You see what I mean? I always try to.
That's in defense mode, isn't it?
Exactly. You see what I mean? That's vibrating beyond the animal self. That's one thing even Egypt taught us to do. Like the very Sphinx is the picture for that. You see what I mean? It's like having the head, the human head over the lion body or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, I pass the opportunities. People always not understand it, but you pass it. When you I learn to see it in a way that I let go of the small fish to catch the big fish. Because most of the time, when it's based on the animal survival self, then though it may seem big for the time being, but based on spirit, it's very minimal. You see what I mean? When we get to see what we gave up for that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because time shows you what you have passed on. Every decision puts you on a different track. You know what I'm saying? Of a different future. You see what I mean? So that's why it's a very challenging thing. It's an ongoing challenge, basically. But at all times, trust that you always have what you need. The main thing is having the intention. Once you have the intention, then everything else will come. I don't want to make it like though I understand why some people do that, because you have to sell classes, you have to sell this. This is the way they choose to gain some monetary funds or something like this. That's why
there's no drama with it. There's no problem with it at all. It's
see what I mean?
Just the awareness of the karmic cycle, because it will. Earning money is one thing, and that's fine. There's no drama. There's no good or bad in what's being said. It's allowing that wheel to turn quicker rather than
quicker or slow, rather than slow.
Yeah,
definitely. I like how you put it, though, because it is true. It's not wrong. It's not right. This and that, except that it's either gonna push you 10 years ahead or pull you back 10 years, or something like that, depending on why you decided. But most of the time when we decide on the animal survival instincts, it's always going to pull us back anyway, because that's the illusion we're deciding on. You see what I mean? Like, sacrificing the will self. You see what I mean? So that's why it always pull us back. We will see a little fruit out of it, but not really to the degree where that would really safeguard us, like mind, body, and soul at all times. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anytime we always, I'm seeing it myself, and that's the beauty of speaking from the heart, because it's the experience. Me myself, I see that, you know, I lose trust in myself. I question myself the hardest. I would say, yo, am I smart or am I stupid? What am I doing? Listening to other people, like, or something like this. But and then a few years later, to be like, oh, thank God I held on. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you have no choice but except to keep on trusting. You see what I mean? And knowing that because you are in control of the reality anyway. So if you have the intention, that's already taking control anyway of where it goes from there. So, but most of the time, the only thing from that is that since we're not made to trust ourselves all the time, then we tend to not see it when the answer comes because of the way we expect it to be. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we expect it to be, then when it comes, we don't see it. Like a woman, for instance. Last time I was doing a session with a girl looking for a man or this and that. But I was saying the same thing to her, right? I say, you know, the minute that you say to the universe, you send out the words that you need a man, many men already surround you, already ready to be that man that you need. So now look between those men and see which one fits you best. And most of the time, based on the animal self that we are forced to be in, like we are due to the bill payments and this and that, we are forced to think as the animal, the survival self, right? So now she's gonna see the men that can help her there, pay the bills. But now what she don't know is that once you get that man, it's a continuous struggle now, because the animal surviving now is always gonna have to keep on surviving. But if you completely overlook or override the animal instinct, then you will go for the spiritual, for the value, for the potential. And then you will see he may be a man that don't have a job for the moment. But if you trust that the potential in them, like that, you know, that can add value to your true self, then you will find partnering with the right man now, money will come to you in ways you never thought possible, in quantities you never thought possible, because you make the decision beyond survival. And this is why I tell the women to not, though you are made to think this way, but try to always override survival mode. You see what I mean? Because don't make decisions based on it. I know it's hard. We know it's hard. You know, Ziki, how hard that is. You see what I mean? But we have to go beyond that. You see what I mean? Otherwise, we're only making decisions for the time being. And that's the worst thing we can do, because time changes. If you make the decision because of what you see today, then tomorrow when it changes, now you're going to have to make another decision again. And who is to say that you're going to make the right one? That's why you have to go outside of time, outside of matter, outside of anything that matters, and then see the whole picture. You see what I mean? And I see it all the time in every aspect, every aspect. You see, and this is why I'm mostly focused on that aspect of the girls or the women looking for the partner, because they always overlook that. That's why you will find them, oh, I need one to pay the bills, I need one to do this, I need one. Because once you get it for the bills, that's what the intention was, then that's what you manifest. You see what I mean? But if you go beyond that now, then you will manifest things that are beyond that and still encompassing the bills and everything else or something like that. You see what I mean? So if that makes any sense or something.
Yeah, it did. It was expansive and there's a lot to take in there. So yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to read this last little bit out on this and then we'll move on to our last piece, which is on crypto. But this is off of transformmind.com. This is quite an interesting piece, and actually there's going to be another chat. I'll be talking with another gentleman in a series I'm making, but there's 3 stages to this. It's almost like a plan, almost like what they call it, a 12-part series. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it's quite interesting. It's stage 1. This is to do with the spiritual, what we were just talking about, as in creating that, opening yourself up to a spiritual journey and the awareness to embarking on your awareness and enlightening yourself more. Stage 1, it says preparation, strengthening the ego. Number 1, separation. 2, belonging. 3, selfhood. 4, communion. Then it says stage 2, the adventure, healing the soul. 5, sovereignty. 6, searching. 7, surrender. 8, healing. Then it says stage 3 is the return, merging soul with spirit. It's 9, guidance. 10, co-creation. 11, transmutation. And 12, unity. So that there's a bit of information on all of them, but that grabbed me a lot. It's almost like it's a cleansing process. And on the speech of sovereignty, it's quite interesting that it's on stage 2 being the adventure, which is what we were talking about, that vulnerability. People get scared of that sort of area that they're in, but actually that's an area that should be open. We should have our arms open and happy for the situations that are not so, that challenge us, allow us to step out of our comfort zone and be able to actually experience, so we can grow. With being stalemate, no, not even a plant does it. You know, I do this analogy where you can have 2 plants, identical plants, and you can water one and not water the other. Naturally, automatically, people are thinking, okay, well, that one with the water is going to grow more. It probably will. Do you know what I mean? It'll probably last longer. But what they both have in common, 100% without fail, is that they will always give you 100% of what they can give you, no matter what. And that's what we are supposed to be doing as well. You know, and if we're not doing that, then something is clearly not in alignment with ourselves, and we need to be taking that step back, like you really clearly spoke of in your spiritual journey piece there, and being able to actually start looking at how to allow ourselves to turn those cycles to get that rolling again. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that on that space, because we can definitely go a lot deeper into that mastering the self. Maybe that's another topic to talk about at another stage. But
indeed.
So I want to talk a little bit about modern technology. This one, right? Yeah, modern technology. And obviously your man is into your modern technology. You embrace it quite a lot. I embrace it, to be honest. It has its benefits in many ways. We're in a digital world today. And but I'm intrigued to know what modern technology brings to the table in regards of advantages and disadvantages, in the respect of, with the alignment of spiritual being connecting with their higher self, etc. You know, the advantages and disadvantages with modern technology and spirituality. Let's start with the advantages. What advantages do you get from using technology and connecting them together, synchronizing them together, so you can heighten your spiritual journey in this day and age?
Yes, basically it's as simple as the platforms today. Because when you're looking at the advent of YouTube, the Facebooks, and all the social medias and stuff like this, though they create, I even made a show about, you know, the dangers of this type of platforms and stuff like this. But at the same time, we cannot help but seeing how much he connects us. You see what I mean? Like, look at how me and you across the world, and I'm over here. You see what I mean? And then we are connecting and having a conversation together and stuff like this on spirituality and how we should move forward in the new world or something like that. So we have to give credit to this type of platform somehow, regardless of how much danger they pose in a way. So they also do hold the potential to move us forward or something like that. But in a way that we have to basically, it's like technology is something like the spirit can do without, except that technology different, although we are all human beings, but there are beings that may not be capable of certain organic technological, abilities or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what it is, then they have to create a synthetic aspect of that same one that exists within the avatar or something like that. You see what I mean? So now us not being attuned, but if we are attuned, let's say I can be telepathic, but unless you are also telepathically moving and stuff like this, I may not be able to connect with you because I may send you the thought, but you're not receiving. You see what I mean?
Right.
So now the technology now come and be the alternative to that, and it helps in that way. You see what I mean? But the main thing is not to forget that, to go beyond it. Like you said, the world is trying to become more clever with the technology instead of using it to straighten our own organic technology. Let it be the mirror to what exists within, and then in that same way we put the towards what's already within, so that we can do without the technology or something like that. And that, to me, that would be a proper way to make use of technology today, in a way. You see what I'm saying? But the way we're going about it, it's somehow, it's not really healthy for us and stuff like that. You see what I mean? It's serving us for the moment, but we have to it's not serving to the point of dependence, but only to use it for the time being and then become better at connecting with each other or something like that. So the main thing, and that goes even with the same question you asked earlier, when I mentioned Savon's platform. Why do I mention Savon's platform when it comes to these things? Why? Because Savon has the ability or the understanding. He went to school for computer science and these type of things, like web developers and all of these type of things like cryptography. He has a certain understanding in this, and this is the age that we're living in this type of time. You see what I mean? So his understanding of these things, with his connection with other friends with the same type of understanding, can bring about a new Facebook. They can bring about a new, so where people can come and speak their piece without being, censored or whatever it is, this and that. And this is why I see, if we understand what the power of unity and understanding, it's not about having my platform separate from Savon, but having my platform separate, but still having connection with Savon's platform because of what it already is. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. Now pushing it further and see how we can assist it to get to a bigger level. Because you will see it as the platform of the ground towards our future or something like that. You see, it's not it's not everything, but it's the ground to everything. You see, because it already exists or something like that. You see what I mean? So the thing is, like, would I say, like, even Savon also had to say once about technology, because I always find myself speaking against it, not fully, but against it, like in a way that we are trusting it too much and depending on it too much or something. Then he said once that technology, our bodies are technologies. We can create organic technologies. We can, as long as we are in our higher selves, then we are gonna come out with technologies. Like right now, he's working on a cosmic clock with organic pieces and stuff like this, like crystals and shells, and stuff like this, to tell time, beyond the earth time or something like this, beyond the solar timing or something. All of these great things, you see what I mean? So that's why I would say Facebook, YouTube, everything that is facilitating us, because a lot of time we speak to the world, like the type of things, like how we share our journey to the world and helping people see things from a different perspective. It's all thanks to these platforms. So that's why I say, okay, they are advantages to us, though they hold their disadvantages as well, but they are advantages. But does not mean that we have to depend on them all the time, for the simple thing that the more we depend on things, we're giving them too much power over ourselves to the point where they may let us dictate what we can say on this platform. You see what I mean? Because it's never a yes or no answer. There's always a maybe on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Just some positives I just want to ping off, which are the idea of the innovation and creativity improves entertainment, like she spoke of, so listening to social media, music videos, doing these talks. As much as there is misinformation out there, there's a lot of education that is valuable, and you spoke of Seven Bomar's platform and the work that you do and many others, and benefits to the health industry as well, which is a big deal. There's a lot of people that don't really have a lot of understanding of how to, I'm learning those myself, how to truly heal the body and look after oneself and grow and maintain. And you can get a lot of information today online. You know, there's many books and information that a library just can't hold today, you know, in one place. So yeah, it has its benefits and disadvantages. I've just got to ring some of them off as well, because you spoke of some automatically. And one big one for me is, which you touched base on, is the increased in loneliness, and that energetical cycle that can be quite dangerous for an individual because they're not connecting. You know, it's all good that we're having these connections, but it's equally, if not more important, that actually I have an engagement with people on my wavelength, if not similar wavelengths, connecting, sharing that energy, you know, being able to feel, even I can feel you right now, but having someone close or people closer to you, you need that. If your life is based just on computers, that can be quite disturbing, tilted.
Yes.
Got a few other things here. It's talking about job losses. I'm not 100% sure where they're going with that, but you can earn money online now. Your competency.
Exactly. All of these things, indeed.
Yeah, your competency in the sense of you lose that interaction to be able to engage your characteristics, because you've got nothing to build with. You know, like it's not the same as being with an organic individual next to you, because you need that relationship. So that's always quite important. Talks about security and world destruction in the age of advanced weapons. But one interesting thing that I did want to touch base on, which has been going on for a long time now, to be honest, is the idea of computers adopting the 5 human senses. This is quite an interesting topic, exactly. Quite an interesting topic, and you touched base already, like being able to learn and realise that actually you need to take a step back and engage and be who we are supposed to be, organic, and allow ourselves to not be completely fully integrated into this.
Fully, exactly. That's what it is.
Sorry, this is important, and it's obviously aware. Like, I like to call this the beauty of human error, because they are creating computers to think and feel and touch and stuff, to be a human. Why? Why would you want to do that? There's billions of us on the planet already.
So that's the childlike mind. You see what I mean? That's the thing. Because it's basically having all the resources at your disposal and not knowing what to do with it. You see what I mean? That's basically what it is. Because, like you say, what's the point in all of this? Because sometimes you would say, okay, we want to live longer, we want to live that, but you see, what those people got to understand, you see, food. When you go to a 5-star restaurant, you see what they do? They give you a very small amount of food in a big plate. I mean, so now, to your psyche, the food's gonna taste better. To the point you're gonna wanna always come back to buy more, but they make it so expensive that you won't feel right to buy another plate. You see what I'm saying? At the same day or something like that. So life, we have to see life the same way. When they say, okay, we wanna live longer, the only reason we love life is because of the shortening of it. You see what I mean? If it was like forever and without a break from it, then maybe it would have tasted different. You see what I'm saying? Maybe we wouldn't really care about it that much. That anything the ancestors or God or the Most High did in the beginning, it cannot be undone. It cannot be done better. You see what I mean? If they make life short in that way, there's no need to create technology to strengthen it. Oh, because I think God made a mistake there. Maybe we were meant to live longer. No. You're going to find that life has no meaning to it anymore if you're not dying. Because the meaning to life is the fact that you know one day you're not going to be here, so you have the urge to go and do something before you go. You see what I mean? And then that give life the zeal and then all the glitters and things like this. You see? Most of the time we fail to see the beauty in things and take it for the downturn instead. You see what I mean? Like at the down part, where it is the beauty. Death itself is the beauty in life, you see? Because everyone, when you die, when you go away, don't you see everybody want to leave a legacy? Most people now, like, I'm not sure if you're aware, Nipsey, brother Nipsey, may he travel well. So once he's dead, many more people, I didn't know about the brother before. I knew him, I saw a video of him.
I didn't know of him, I didn't know of him.
You see, I saw my first video of him was when he was speaking in the parking lot about spirituality, you know, I mean, just chilling with his boys and stuff like this. That's the first video I know of him. But I didn't really go to research him or listen to his music after that. Until after he died, then everybody's making big noise. Then I had to listen to his lyrics to see why. You see what I'm saying? But he had to go for his legacy to take place or something like that. Why? Because now more people is aware, more this, more that, because that's the gift of what that did. You see, he went away and then that's it. And then it's basically like the seed becoming the tree somehow. But the tree now is no longer a seed, now it's the fruits, but it's not gonna be the one to eat its own fruits or something like that. You see what I mean? So that is just how life works. It's like they're not able to see life for what it is, to accept life for what it is. And that's why from this understanding, a lot of these technologies are coming about. You see what I mean? Because they think they can make life better than it is. Superhuman. We are already super.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Organic beings with a mind that is with infinite memories and stuff like this. You see what I mean? What is more super than that? You see what I'm saying? Anything that's even happy that. You see what I mean? Like very poorly anyway. Yeah. You see what I mean? That's why many. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I was just saying, touch base on that, saying that it'll never have that empowerment that Mother Nature and the spiritual side of things has in combination.
Yes, it's void of
the fact that everything goes back to the earth and it doesn't die.
Yes.
Something else is birthed back up from it constantly. That cycle is abundant. Computers can't do that. Never will.
Exactly.
So, yeah, massive topic.
The computers.
Go on.
Yeah, the computer is always gonna need a programmer. You see what I mean? But when we say okay, we create them to program themselves, then what are we to them then? You see what I mean? It's a danger that I don't know how we're not seeing it, because if we give them the power, the human power to program themselves, to heal themselves, fix themselves, do certain things and do without the human, then now it's gonna be made the strongest one win. You see what I'm saying? And who's gonna be stronger? The one at the first who don't even care about life in the first place. That's gonna be the strongest one, and that's the synthetic beings, the robots, and this and that, because they're gonna be stronger. That's what we call the super. And then once you have a weaker and a stronger in the same space, the stronger is always gonna overpower the weaker. It's always gonna come to that. Basically, we are creating our own hell somehow.
Yeah. Yes, for 100% it is. And the power that they're going to have, the computers, to be able to just turn off, because it's all it is, it's coding, it's on, off in the actions.
That's it.
So,
that's it.
Okay, I'll turn off the feeling, I'll turn off love, I'll turn off. They'll just turn that stuff off if you give them
exactly.
And
this is
like
this is the very reason why sovereignty is a must now. You see what I'm saying? Because this is one of the issues, if not the most important issues that we face as a planet. Why he has to go back to the way it was. You see what I mean? Because for every civilization, at the peak of technological advancement is where the destruction happens. You see what I mean? Because the minute that we realize we can do all these things synthetically, then this is the time that, okay, it's time to destroy these people. You see what I'm saying? And this is why now is the time that we come back to ourselves, but most of us may come back, but due to the powers that be or the manipulation, we may come to be cheerleaders to what already is and to the very going against or something like that. You see what I'm saying? We become the engineers for them. We become the promoters. We become the supporters instead of thinking anew, pioneering thoughts and stuff like this and creating more and more of new stuff, like starting from scratch. You see what I'm saying? That's why we have to be very careful in these times. So most people will say, okay, they need to be awakened. Not knowing awakening is just the beginning. Yes, you awaken to what you need to be doing. Awakening to what was going on, so now you learn what's going on so you can know what you need to be doing now. You see what I'm saying? That's what the awakening is about. And even sovereignty is that power of yours is only to make sure you do what needs to be done as you analyze the reality and you see what's going on and what needs to be done and what's missing, what needs to be added and all of these things. We have great work to do with ourselves, though. So much to do. Because it's basically the ego, the children selves or something like this, you know, having all the resources to themselves and not knowing what to do. And all it is basically is to show, look what I can do. That's basically what's going on. Look what I can do. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. That's it. So everybody claps, say, okay, it's all good, this and that, but not understanding the dangers, not understanding exactly the full, you know, ramification, the full understanding of the creations and stuff like this. Because most of these things our ancestors already achieved. That's why the Wi-Fi, this, that, all of these things existed, you know, wireless technology, but they stopped at some point because they understood the dangers. You see what I'm saying? That's why they bury these things. Yes, they were, you know, in their egoistic style, the childlike going crazy with all the resources that life has to offer. But at some point they had to grow up and realize that, no, that's not what we're supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? And then bury everything. And hope that the children don't find them or something like the next generations or something. But somehow we find them. You see, and then we keep on continuing them and stuff like this, but not knowing that, there's a reason why the ancestors stopped. You see? Instead, we just continue the same thing. Oh, we want to show like we can do this. Oh, look what, I created this flying car. I created a robot that can feel. I created just to show, but not really serving anything. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not serving. You see, that's what it is. Because if, let's say, robots come or something, we have robots and some can afford. What people don't understand, the richest man now among us is not gonna really find power in having robot servants, because everybody has robot servants. Now, to be rich and a sign of richness now is gonna be for you to have a human servant. You synthetic, mine is real. You see what I mean? So it goes back to ourselves being the best again. Anyway, you see, there's no greater. Do not reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
It goes even there. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's something that is, I'm so happy that you touch on that, because that's so important though. Like most of the time, I don't say anything about these things because I don't want, though I know recently I spoke about, what's his name? Not Peter Thiel though. What's his name? Peter Thiel's friend, partner with the one that's doing the continuing the work of the brother. See, the names are, you know, escaping my mind. But, you know, I was talking about him recently, and I was saying how, you know, the same thing I'm saying now, how it is childish, what we are doing with the resources, and in the world we could put these things to better use, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? Then I don't go all out talking about it, because you don't want people to think you just hate it, basically. You see what I mean? Oh, it's because it's not you, blah, 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 you hate him or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So you just keep your tongue and not say no more than needs to be said, and or unless you ask or something like this. But the more you keep your tongue on it, the more you're going to feel guilty, because it's basically when you are quiet onto certain things, you basically are participating to some degree, because you're not saying anything, and that says that you agree with it. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I always...
You talking about Peter Thiel, is a co-founder of PayPal? So
yes.
Yeah.
Which one?
He's a co-founder of PayPal. Is that he was going?
Yes.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, indeed. I mentioned him recently. You see what I mean? Because, you know, he's the one leading the technology today, a very big name in the advancement of technology or something like this. But when you really listen to him with your third eye open and stuff like this, you see what most may not see, that he's not even trusting his action at the moment. He knows he's doing these things, but he knows he shouldn't be doing these things at the same time. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't see the confidence in him that, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Except what you get instead is that I'm doing this, but I wish somebody could stop me. You see what I mean? That's what I see sometimes. You see what I mean? Because he was man enough to say, to stand for the danger that the technology poses. You see what I mean? He said it with his own mouth.
He'd have no chance to walk with his two left feet if he mentioned things in that manner.
He said have to let you know of the dangers that they pose, you know. And he also mentioned about the AI, you know, creating its own language up to today. They are trying to decipher or something like this. You see what I mean? So already they're seeing even David Icke, one of your own, you see, I mean, he's speaking. I was listening to one of his interviews with this brother today, another podcast show from England and stuff like this. I'm pretty sure you know of it. So the thing is, like, it's just basically most of these people who is not like the cheerleaders who understand, you know, the dangers and stuff like this. They do already speak about these things. Because you don't have to have PhD to understand the dangers of certain things. You only have to think about them. You see, I mean, just think about it for a second and see, okay, do we really need to spend all this energy, money, and resources towards these things that really cannot serve mankind in any way? You see what I'm saying? Because what is the point of them to know certain things? But when you already have everything already at your hand, like knowledge is like Google, I can just ask Google. So what's the gratification in knowing now? You see what I'm saying? What is the beauty in knowing something? What is the beauty of the journey now when Google just gave you the answer? You see what I'm saying? So it is basically gonna make life so boring. It's to the point where the best life we're gonna be able to live is virtually. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
because the real life already, and this is the future anyway. You see, I've seen movies already about that, where people are already living, you know, they only work only to afford the gamings so that they can just go and escape the reality that we have to live now. You see what I mean? And this is the only way it's gonna go if you don't become that loving being that we're supposed to be. Because once we are vibrating with love and the same frequency of the earth, then we will have the clarity of mind to see where we go from here. You see what I mean? Because if not, once we continue on the survival mode, because you see everybody is on survival mode, like the best ones among us, like even Brother Nipsey, The reason most people, when you ask them, okay, what did he do great? Or he fed many people. You see, because that's where the mind is, but because we are about surviving or something like that. You see, and this is a very, very dangerous place to be or something like this, as human beings, of course. You see what I mean? So the thing is, like, if we are there and then freedom comes, abundance comes, we're only gonna serve with abundance. We're gonna serve the problem that is over consumerism or something like that already. You see what I mean? With freedom, we're only gonna serve certain things that's not serving. Like people thinking, okay, I can have sex on my car. I don't care if children are passing by. Freedom have this danger to it if it's not properly nurtured or something like this. You see what I'm saying? Because we can't help but seeing the dangers to things. You see, like understanding, we're not only seeing the good, the positive, the upside, we see the full potential. You see the up and the down and things like this. You see what I'm saying? So this is why I say, okay, it's important that we vibrate higher. We understand, you know, don't let, because it's a strategy against us, keeping us down to survival mode. So when we make decisions based on that, then we're not winning. We're not even moving forward. You see, except that it's an illusion of movement. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, totally. We just go in circle, basically. You see what I mean? Because who we are is beyond. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. That was a good answer there, man. That was a very, very good answer. Now, if you've got enough time, maybe we could just do a little spurt on cryptocurrency. I just wanted to add this in because just to give people a little bit of an idea of how to maybe become a little bit abundant in, or find some sort of abundance in the digital world, and how cryptocurrency is making its way into the digital world and into our lives as a form of currency. It was already there. We use
credit cards, debit cards,
and debit cards anyway, but this is a form of currency that has a little bit more meaning, has a bit more structure to it in regards of being possibly technically your own bank.
Beautiful answer.
Maybe you can touch base on that a little bit, and maybe you can touch base on this a little bit and let us know what's going on with it, and tell us how you feel about it and whether it's something that we need to be looking into in this day and age as well. So cryptocurrency, please.
Indeed. So how I come towards it is that, like, I always see that, like you said, that no good, no bad, and like I always believe as well, except that it's gonna have its use. But the thing that we have to see is that all of this is, you know, is not coming from a place of a true creator of worlds or something like that, because it only furthers the illusion. You see what I mean? It doesn't really add to us like we think. Because in the beginning of things, it's always gonna show that it's all for us. You see what I mean? Especially if we're not thinking for ourselves. It's only gonna show you the positive and how it's gonna give you the ability to do business peer-to-peers and this and that, blah, 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 this and that, whatever it is. But is it going back to the beginning? Because the way it is encrypted in reality, in the organic matrix, is that as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So in the beginning, it was not crypto. In the beginning, peer-to-peer was peer-to-peer. You see what I'm saying? Right. It wasn't peer-to-peer per se. You see what I mean? So it's like, okay, it means the way I'm trying to do it now. I come with the people, and up to now, they're still not getting it. They're still not trusting it much because it's going back to the beginning. And this is how I'm doing business right now. You see what I mean? They're not trusting it because it's the beginning. You see what I'm saying? So what it is, it's like, I see your potential. I see you when you have this product. And then I tell you, okay, I can help you create commercial. I can help you promote and this and that. And whatever you got to do, you sell, okay, if this product is a product I need, and then you pay me in that product, or you give me the fiat currency or whatever currency you may choose to. I leave it open up to you or something like this. And then to give back for my services and things like this. Because why I'm trying to instill the beginning into business again. You see what I mean? And this is the way we have to think. Because the crypto is not our choice. The crypto is a choice given to us just like fiat was. You see what I mean? The more we give power to it, we're thinking, okay, we're doing well, but we're not in reality. Why? Because is it from us? You see what I mean? Is it?
Yeah.
It's given again, once more. So somebody thought about it, you see, and we don't even know who. So though it may show, like, did fiat, when they created the paper dollar, did they tell us the good of it? Did they tell us that you won't have to go around with a bunch of gold, like having to have caravans going around this and that? Just with the certificate alone, you can prove that you have this much money, this and that. We see the convenience and this and that. But does it have to be changed today? Did we have to make way with it, get rid of it today? You see what I mean? Why? Because it was not fully potential for who we are and what we are trying to achieve in this life. You see what I'm saying? So more and more we give time. All we did is waste our time with it. We give our time with our choice. Okay, we need that, with this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then only so later that we can go back to the beginning. Because crypto is only a beginning of the same thing. New name, new way, but still the fiat. You see what I'm saying? In a way. But it's given. That's what I always want people to understand. Not that I'm speaking against it. Like you see, I speak for it, I give my platform towards it. Because what's the point of me going against it if it's already out there? If whatever I say, some people is always gonna go with that anyway. So the best thing I can do is to align myself with it, but still speak the full truth about it.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? At least I give us a choice to think twice. You see what I mean? About what we are doing. At least once we are doing that with other alternative in mind. Like, okay, not giving it too much power that it does not deserve or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Because like I say, like every other currency, it's given to us. It's only mimicking what was to be. Because most of the time, when the time comes for a change, there's always gonna be a copy of that change, which holds less potential than the true thing. Meaning now peer-to-peer is the beginning way, the way it was done in the beginning. Organic beings dealing with organic beings. You see what I'm saying? But the cryptocurrency comes and mimic that because this is the time for it. Therefore, we will recognize the peer-to-peer and go forward just like we recognize the story of the Christ in religion and go and went forward. You see what I'm saying? It's just the same thing that's just repeating itself, the same mistake over and over. You see, we accept it, but is it the answer? No. Because to me, I see he holds more danger than fiat ever held. The only danger with fiat is the people that control the fiat, the people that printed the fiat. That's the only problem. But do we still have the power over the fiat paper? Yes, because if we have fiat, we can hide it in a corner, and then no one has power where we spend it or whatever it is. Nobody can say, I don't accept the dollar, because that's the currency of that move the society.
I see what you mean by that, yeah. I see what you mean.
But with crypto now, do you really think it's gonna be to the mercy of the one who's most cunning technologically? You see what I'm saying?
Well, if your computer crashes, no crypto.
No crypto. Though I have friends of mine that worked on a hard copy. That means you hold the wallet in a memory state or something like this. Like if the computer crashes, at least you have a backup of it. You see what I mean? That's why I even move this platform. I move this platform and stuff like this and help them see the light and share my platform with them. I used to be on their YouTube platform, so speaking on crypto, though I don't have much knowledge put into it, but I do listen and stuff like this. So you see what I mean? So that's the thing. I try not to just pick one side of things. I don't go like, okay, I'm against crypto and I just go one way. I try to stay in the middle path. Not only to safeguard myself. Why? Because whether I believe it or not, just because my peers believe in it means it's gonna always be anyway. So the best I can do is to at least give some times to it. You see what I mean? At least keep it in perspective so that I don't be without or something like that. And
yeah,
at least if as much but have the understanding how to deal with that or something like this. You see what I mean? But I really don't see it as an answer. Yes, he holds the potential. He holds this, he holds that, or whatever it is. You see what I mean? But that's not the answer. You see what I mean? That is basically not the answer. Why? Because many people you see supporting these platforms today. You see, there are people that are already doing things in the market, like the people that sell the children. You see what I mean? Now they have a way to not be, you know, tracked or whatever it is. You see what I mean? Or something like
so
this.
There's always a site, yeah.
You see what I mean? Because most people, the people that really want it, really, and then we, mostly the black folks, they see it as a way out too, because it gives them a power that they don't have to be, you know, under the, you know, the supervision of the Federal Reserve and this and that or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, that's what I'm saying. It's all based on survival, we are thinking. You see, we just have to go beyond the survival.
Yeah.
Because I really don't believe that anything like technologically or technologic-wise or something can be against the 1%. It's always going to have the hand of the 1% in it anyway. It's never going to be against the 1%.
Yeah, it'd be silly.
They are running the
It'll
technology.
be stupid.
Anyway.
I can't help but think that the crypto is run by the bank anyway. Like,
it may seem like it because they want you to buy it as the answer.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Until
it's another option. It's like people who smoke cigarettes and then they want to quit, so they smoke the e-cigarettes, the electric, and they just don't think that, okay, the same money is going to the same people. The people that make cigarettes, the people that make electric cigarettes, are the same people.
That's the thing. They don't see the full picture, though, Ziki. Yeah. They just see what they told, but they're not thinking about it for themselves. You see what I mean? Like you say, the same one that say, okay, cigarette, this, blah, 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 let's go against cigarette. Because if you want to have full control of something, you have to control the both sides of it, like the negative and positive. Because if you leave any door open, then that's a weakness for your corporation or your company or your whatever endeavors. You see what I'm saying? You have to be able. That's why it's not about being too good. It's not about being too bad. It's to be able to maintain both
balance. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. It's like you said, the same one that, okay, they're already aware. Do we really believe that these people that were not aware that at some point in time the dollar was going to lose its value, this and that? Of course they were. And being aware 100 years prior to that, do you really think they didn't have an answer for that already? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like people keep taking things that, you know, because they don't want to think for themselves. You know what I mean? And the minute that we are on survival mode, that's the best we're gonna have to offer ourselves, whatever is presented. You see what I mean?
That limits us again, and that's allows us to be stationary. Yeah.
Limits your point of view, limits your perspective, limits your abilities, limits everything that you are. You see what I mean? We just gotta get away from that survival mode as much as we can, especially when we are thinking about creating a new reality for ourselves. We cannot just stick what is given anymore, because that's not sovereignty. Sovereignty is to be able to say what your currency is, not adapt to what is. You see what I'm saying? That's sovereignty.
That's a good saying, that is. That's a good saying. I like that.
Exactly. So the thing is like, okay, you think, okay, with the illusion of having to name your own cryptocurrency, is still not sovereignty. Because the platform, the ICO or the ICO technology, the cryptographic technology or whatever it is, was not originally your idea. So therefore, it's not. You can't gain sovereignty from that. You see, I mean, it's gonna give you the illusion from the get-go, from the beginning, but it's a controlled illusion. You see, they know to what limit. You see, I mean, until everyone accepts it, until it becomes what they meant for it to become, then it will give you the full thing. You see what I'm saying? And then you will realize, oh my God, we messed up once more. You see? And then there's no going back, because now you have to wait a few years before you can get back the time to have another new beginning or whatever to bring something new again. You see, that's why it's there. And if we are not able to be ourselves and bring back what was working from the beginning, like the scripture tells us, as it was from the beginning, and that's encoded, you see, means so shall it be in the end. If we cannot bring that new pioneering thoughts or something like this, then the answer exists, and then crypto is there to take the place of that. You see what I mean? But that doesn't mean this is what it's supposed to be or something like that. You see, it has to be as simple as possible, because that's where we can put these things to use, you see what I mean, without having to give them too much power over our reality or something like this. We have to be able, like you say, you know, to take back the how you call it, the God-given rights or something like this, unalienable rights or something. To take back those, like to be able to travel like Moors used to do, going to India for the silk, for the tea, for the herb. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You travel and then do mutual business with the nations and this and that or whatever, you see, and then you may use the internet maybe if you don't want to travel and get things, like you use them to a limit where it doesn't really take too much away. But adding too much power and trying to get it more efficient, you see, I don't think that can be really the answer or something like this 100. You see what I mean? We just gotta make sure that to understand the beginning and why everything has to go back. Because it's just like a tree, basically. Follow the blueprint. What is the blueprint? The blueprint first, you see the seed, you see, and then you plant the seed and then it grows into a tree. And then after you take a seed from the fruit that the tree gives, after a few years, you take another seed, and that's the beginning of that tree, the seed. You see what I mean? And then when you say that, when the time says at the beginning, so you bring it back to the seed level, what was when it was a seed. You see, because it's a new beginning, allowing yourself a clean slate instead of taking it from where it was messing up already, except furthering the mess that already is. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying, like, you know, we do need to think more about what we are doing, and not really to worship those that are doing certain things that may seem plausible to us or something like this now, or you see, because we are basically contributing to it somehow. Because the more we clap, okay, oh, they made this or whatever, people are clapping at the robots dancing, but not knowing the robots dancing is what. It's the same way when they created the police force or something like this. First, they give you the beauty of it. Like, okay, they're smiling at you in the communities, helping you, this and that, blah, 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 and then the police state come from it. You see what I mean? And then it evolves to something that you want to get rid of. You see what I mean? So it's the same with the robots. You will dance to work for you today, but those robots, when they're programmed to keep you in check, they will hold the same gun and not think twice to shoot a bullet in your head without thinking. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we have to be aware, basically. You see what I mean, of what it is that is presented to us, and the dangers, and how we can stop us from really live our lives. Because the thing is, like, it can only get worse from here, Ziki, what I'm trying to say. If we're not going back to the way things were, it can only get worse.
For sure.
You see what I mean? Why? Because we have policemen today. Sometimes police stop you, they don't give you a ticket. They don't give you a ticket, right? Because you may give them a story, oh, I'm pregnant as a woman, I'm only take the red light because I'm pregnant, as you can see, and I need to make it to the hospital, my water bill. And now the police have a heart, and then he has a wife, he has children as well. So with that understanding, that's a weakness for the corporation. You see what I mean? So they have to accept the police now, because then leave it to their discretion. They don't know how many people they let go. This is why they say, we're only gonna pay you based on how many tickets you give. Why? Because they already see that you're gonna go with your heart that time. So now when we allow them to take the police from human to robots, then what we did to ourselves is that whether you're pregnant or not, you take a red light, you're gonna get a ticket. You see what I'm saying? Because there's no heart where the robot is coming from. Exactly. There's no leveling with you. Then you made it worse for yourself now. You see what I mean? That's why most of them don't get it. And when you try to talk about it, for allow them to see it from that higher perspective, then they don't want to hear it. They think you hate it. Oh, you hate technology. Oh, you're not about that, whatever. You're not about evolution. What do you mean? You see what I mean? It's a backward evolution. It's a devolution when you have officers coming from organic beings to synthetic beings. That's not evolution. That's
the earth. Yeah, 100%. The earth is 100% perfect.
You see what I mean?
For what it does and how it, and then we
basically creating a hell for ourselves. Because right now we are saying, oh, it's not the police coming, and then some of us may want to show our power and kill one of them. But now, if you have robots or something like that, what is it really that you can do against like a machine, really that seek to control you and keep you tame, or something like that? You see what I mean? You really made it worse for yourself. Yeah. And who's really supporting these things? It's us.
Yeah.
You see, the money is coming
That's
from
the worst part about it. It's being allowed.
That's why I keep blaming us. I don't want to put blame on the police. I don't want to put blame on the government. I don't want to put blame on the 1%. Not for the reason that they don't have blame in it, but for the reason that we need to take control. We need to take the blame so that we can learn our lessons and move forward from them. You see what I mean? Because the lesson is going to allow us to see where we went wrong so that we don't repeat the same mistakes again. But if we look for a scapegoat, you best believe we're going to enjoy the destruction as
running away from self.
You see what I'm saying?
Again, yeah.
It doesn't feel good when I blame us for it. It does not feel good. But there's no growth in feeling good. You know, there's only stagnancy when you're feeling good. When someone wants to destroy you, the best thing they do for you is to make you feel good. Because remember, the apple they give Snow White was beautifully red and beautifully ripe. But she didn't know it was to kill her. You see what I mean? Because it's not everything that comes to you shining in your face that's really going to be in your favor. You have to learn to see that everything shining is gold.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to learn to, you know, have some trust and some belief in yourself or something like this. You see? But what I'm saying basically is that we have a lot to think about. And most, you see how we're talking right now, these things, people don't understand how important it is. You really think you have a choice in doing what you're doing today? You don't have a choice. Because this type of work you're doing is so crucial and so important to the advancement of the planet itself, using whatever is right now that we have, any technology that we have right now, there's no better you can do with that except to use it to share awareness. You see what I'm saying? Because in the beginning was the word, and this is a beginning, and you are felicitating what? The word. You see what I'm saying? Even myself, I question, okay, why am I doing this? But I'm gonna do it anyway because that's what my spirit feel right doing. You see what I mean? And this is why I don't worry about what my mind says. I'm aware, the ego, I'm aware of the mind, I'm aware of everything within myself, but I'm still gonna move with the grander self. You see, I'm gonna move with the higher self, the self that don't need survival. You see what I mean? Or something like that. It's not gonna look good for me for the time being, most of the time, but I have to trust that this is the right thing to do. If I seek, you know, to catch the bigger fish, you see, because crypto can give us the small fish. We can think, okay, oh, potential to become millionaires, yes. But when you are yourself and you are the money, do you really have limits? Because numbers, like, what is the limit to you? You see what I mean? Okay, you can be a millionaire, but what is the potential of your spirit? It's beyond millionaire. You see what I'm saying? It's beyond numbers. It's beyond everything. So the potential within you is greater than any technology can offer you. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? But you accept the limitation because we are living in a limited mindset. You see what I'm saying? And then we want to make better decisions and creating a new world from that space. It's not healthy. It's not right. We're not gonna get anywhere with that. We completely have to let go of whatever we knew, whatever we thought was great, whatever we thought, and just come as a child, like the Bible says, and start anew, start fresh, like the little seed once more. You see, I mean, allow ourselves to just enjoy life for what it is now, because we realize Life didn't need change. You see what I mean? Life didn't need any change. What needs to change is our mindset, the way we see life. You see what I mean? Not life itself, because life is perfect.
Yes.
The way it was.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
it hasn't done anything wrong. It's just the applications of what we brought to the game.
That's it. And we're the only ones. Yeah. You see what I mean? Because the animals just go along. They enjoy, they can enjoy, and that's it. You see, they don't seek to add to it. They don't seek to take away from it, except what they take, they eat, and then the defecation becomes fertilizer for the same land to a lot. It's like giving back. Yeah. As they take from the higher mouth, they give back from the lower one. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's all there is to it. That's all they do. You know what I mean? And then they add to the ecosystem. They work with the ecosystem. Everything is green and everything is beautiful. But with us thinking we are the intelligent ones, we keep on creating deserts everywhere we go, like turning fertile lands into desert lands, turning organic things into synthetic things. And you see what I mean? Like basically taking life and creating that with it. You see what I'm saying? Something that we call life and calling it evolution. You see what I'm saying? That's the danger. We can call things whatever we want, but is it what it is? You see what I'm saying? Then we're gonna have to know what evolution is first before we can tell that is. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why I'm not against crypto, really. As you can see, I've been sharing crypto with people. Why? Because if you believe in it and you want it to be part of your reality, my job is not to stay there thinking that I have a power to change what you're thinking or what you want to do with yourself. My job is to accept that you have the right to choose whatever you want for your life. And then
you'll help them build.
That's it.
That's a good place to be, man. That's a really, really, really good ethics. Really, really good ethics. Makes a lot of sense. And again, going back to that karma-free wealth, that's what it's about. Because the true currency will flourish, and then and the bonus is you can make money as well. It's not primary, so you've got a good cycle going on there, and that's exactly what we're trying to bring to the forefront of our thinking.
Because crypto itself, Ziki, crypto itself is what? Crypto needs fast internet, because the blockchain, they have to calculate fast, you know what I mean, and this and that, the transactions, and the more we adapt crypto, the faster we're gonna need our computers to be, and our internet signals to be, and stuff like this. And this is why the same people we are talking about 5G, and some of us destroying the 5G towers or whatever it is, but how are you gonna do your transaction without 5G? Because 5G is only an answer to the internet problem that crypto gonna need to work efficiently for you, because this is what you have accepted as your currency. Right. And this is why I see us as the danger. Why? Because we want cryptocurrency, we want to invest in it, we want to do this, we want to promote it, we want to do that, and then at the same token, we want to go around breaking the very thing that's gonna make it all possible. You see, so what are we doing? What are we doing? That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, yeah, it looks good that we take matters into our own hand. But after we break the towers, we come to our computers. Let me check my crypto investments. You see what I mean? This is because there's no awareness where we are. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. It's like we acting up, and this is why the 1% or the powers that they don't take us serious. They don't think we are able to make decisions, like Obama would say. The people are not able to, they need a big brother. They're not able to make big decisions for themselves. And I had to just accept it for what it is, whether I like it or not. You see what I'm saying? Because it's true. Do you really think they say that because they're lying, or is it something as fact that they know? You see, whether I believe it or not, if I disbelieve it, it shows that I'm just like that. It shows that I'm immature too, and stuff like that, because it's a reality, and I choose to overlook it or neglect it or something like that, wow. And which is not maturity at all. You see what I mean? Maturity is to accept what it is, regardless of how you feel about it. You see what I mean? So I had to be mature, the mature one, to know that, okay, we are stupid. Oh my God. we are the one creating all these issues. We are the one, because yes, let's say they come with the idea, but they need our support. Together,
Exactly.
1% need the 99%.
Yes.
Because there's no separation in reality. You see, I mean, only maybe on the surface they may show, oh, we separate, but no, don't we work for the 1%? You see what I'm saying? Don't we purchase our computers from the 1%? Don't you see what I'm saying? In reality, we are working together. And this is why my message bring a lot of discomfort to people, Ziki, because that's why I say only masters can really listen to me, because when I say that is not to be cocky, it's because only them can listen. Why? Because they already know what I'm talking about. So they can take it, regardless of how they may be feeling for the moment. But if you didn't already do the research within yourself and know the dangers and that you are the problem and all of these things already are part of you, then you always gonna find the first thing that happens when something new comes to you, which is to reject it. When truth come to you, first thing that happens to ego is reject it. If it doesn't feel good to the ego, the first thing ego gonna do is reject it, like in denial. Basically, that's how it happens. You see what I mean? But at some point we have to just speak it as it needs to be spoken. You see, because if we didn't think about it, then at least we put the seed in the mind of the people. We put the thought, and then that alone is gonna make them think twice down the line. And if they didn't see it, but when things are changing, we hope that once they realize it, it's not too late or something like that. Though Elon Musk say it's too late already. He said it. It's too late. You see what I mean? But I don't want to give that too much power. I say there's always time. You see what I mean? I'm not rejecting that it's too late, but I always want to leave some hope for myself. Like, okay, there's some time. And this is basically the reason why we even speak. That's why most people see me focusing on those type of things. Like, I take it to heart when I have to come to a platform and speak, and I make sure that I keep the energy right and making sure that I'm not preparing anything except that I let it be. You see what I mean? Like, let my heart speak or something like this. And I'm feeling the moment and allowing you to come with whatever questions, and then allowing the heart to answer whatever without me knowing it. You see what I mean? There's a reason in the vulnerability, because this is where everything grows. Or something like this. This is the water that's gonna, feed the foundation for things. If the water is vulnerable, the earth is stable indeed, but stability can be stagnant, as the water can be too fluid to grow things. You see what I mean? That's the thing. That's why the water is gonna be needed. The vulnerability needs to be added to the stability in order to allow growth or something like that. You see what I mean? So I like to be in that space of the vulnerability where I don't know the questions you're gonna ask. I don't know the answers to that question you're gonna accept, that I'm gonna let it be. And this is why you see beautifully you ask the right question, and then giving me a way to allow spirit or my heart to speak about it freely. Because many people may not have seen themselves as the problem. Many of the young men that go and break the 5G towers and come back to their computers to check their crypto investments may not see it that way, because they're just acting on impulse. They're acting from a space of survival. You see what I mean? They don't understand really fully what it is that they are doing. That's why they don't see where the same hand that's destroying the 5G is the same hand that's supporting the 5G in the first place. They don't see it that way. So when we allow ourselves to give time and come and talk about these type of things, then we really assist the growth. We really assist the evolution. We really assist the betterment of the planet. Because in the beginning, like we say, it was the way. You see what I mean? So that's why I really compliment you on whatever it is that you are doing, the time that you are putting into your platform and stuff like this. And I believe I already subscribe to your channel and stuff like this. You see what I mean? Because I already understand. I'm not seeing these things as the manipulated mind sees it. I see it for what it is. I see it for the very thing that's bringing the change. You see what I mean? And this is why you see the people that control the platform try to control how much of our words they allow to go. Because whether we see it or not, they see the potential. You see what I mean? They understand the power it holds. When we come and being the voice, putting time into the platform and things like this. Because look, The minute that the TV was created in Germany, that's the minute they knew they already have control over the world. Because you already know what it is you created. You see what I mean? And sometimes when we create, we may not know the power of what it is that we are doing. But those who already know power, they already see more in what power and what we're doing that we know. That's why they will see, they will give views to the one, like basically synthetic fake views to someone chasing their butts and men wearing skirts, and they give them views to bring attention. The mind works wherever the energy goes, the mind follows, or something like this, and vice versa. You see what I mean? They know how to manipulate that. And then taking away from your channel that is speaking on the future to a level that we need to hear. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because it stands against their agenda. You see what I mean? And this is why it's so important for everyone who listens to your channel to understand their job in it. You putting your time, and their job is what? To share it, to subscribe, and to let people know, like, and then have a conversation about the conversation, basically keeping it alive, keeping it lit, or something like this. You see what I mean? So that it can manifest in the reality. Because if we did not create it as the originators, it's not gonna be for us. That's just the plain truth. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's say those that are in control today, why is the word in that state right now? It's because they are the children in reality. They are the last one to experience the reality. And you know how it works in the reality. All about experience. Whoever has the most experience is the one that should be in control of them. You see what I mean? Otherwise, all the resources will be misused, mismanagement, which is what we are seeing today. We invest in wars more than we invest in the children. We invest in the things that are destroying more than we invest in the things that are building. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until we go back to the original, meaning those that have the most understanding and the most data, or most whatever in the DNA, meaning that already existed prior to this time, they are the one who holds the understanding and the capacity to bring something new out of this, the dying world, or something like this. But when the old world is dying, it's a chance for us to recreate something better from what it was before. Healthy planet. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But going the way we're going right now, thinking we have to go more synthetic, that's not really the new beginning. That's only the same ending, the ending.
Bridging that.
You see what I mean?
Okay.
It's not a new beginning. You see what I'm saying?
Not bridging the gap. Sorry, it's breaking the gap.
Indeed. You see?
That was a massive, expansive answer there, and much, much appreciated. And on that note, wow. That was so much information there. It was just,
yes, indeed.
It was relevant, and it was highly, highly, highly appreciated. I'm so, so grateful that I had you in this space, and I reached out and you reached back. And
so am I. Very grateful to be on here with you.
And
it's so important we speak to this degree, because we have to align ourselves. Though we may hit the 1%, but we can learn from their levels of maturity, from how much patience they put into things. Like, let's say Trump, for instance, being the president today. It's something they already chose many years prior.
yeah.
It shows the patience they have. They already prepare 50 years early, 100 years early for a time that's going to happen 100 years in the future. Knowing they trust the process. They know, okay, they have to remain patient and wait. We have to get to that level of maturity. You see what I mean? Learn from that. You see what I mean? And then to the degree where even we call Illuminati bad, blah, 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 this and that. But the Illuminati, when they do something good, the same way when something bad happens, they don't seek to take credit. The same way too, they don't take credit for something good as well. You see what I'm saying? They don't need any credit because they're mature enough to not feel any self-gratuity from that. So we have to reach the level of maturity that they're projecting. And this is the only reason they're controlling us right now. Because they are showing maturity. You see what I mean? Because in a space, whoever shows more maturity is the one that's going to control anyway. Let's say there's chaos right now happening in your home. You're going to find the more mature one become the leader naturally. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Naturally, without having to say be chosen or whatever. It naturally is going to happen. It's going to say something and everybody gonna feel the need to follow. You see what I mean? And it happens naturally without a consensus or nothing. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way
Sure.
in the world. Though they may be misusing the stuff, but due to the fact that they are using maturity to move forward, using the God-given ability, is like aligning themselves with the God frequency. Because what is God? God is the destruction, the destructive one, is the builder, is everything. You see what I mean? So are they still doing God work when they are destroying? Yes. You see what I mean? So that's what it is. It's like, so now the balance is what's needed now. So the other aspects of God gotta stand up and do what the other aspects must do to create a balance within things. And then in the end, when both sides is showing maturity, then you can be called to the table, where before they make a decision, you have to be addressed first. Meaning, since you are more in tune with spirit, then they're already realizing that. Because even in technology and in the technological world, now they're giving more voices to the gurus now, to the spiritual gurus. They want to hear what they have to say now more than ever, because they're recognizing the void in their thinking. Because before, it was few recent years before, it was what? It was, if you can't see it, it doesn't exist. They did not believe in a soul in the body. They did not believe in spirit. They just see body and death, that's it. You see, that's why they did not value life. Until they started seeing, as they understanding the atom and the DNA and stuff, and they started seeing certain things they used to call junk DNA or whatever. There's nothing beyond the atom or whatever they put the blockage in their mind to, and they realized it was their own blockage, not that there was a blockage there. There's continually to know, but they stopped it there because of their thinking. So that's why now they start giving more voices to the spiritual aspects of things. So yes, they know already. They know for fact they need the spiritual leaders. They know for fact they need those that are in tune with the full spectrum of things. You see what I mean? But are they mature enough to be called to the table to make decisions about going forward from here? You see what I mean? Yeah. Or are they still in survival mode? Do they still need to make some money to survive? Or like, are they able to sacrifice certain things for the greater good? How are they doing the proper sacrifices? Because when we're in survival mode, you know what would happen to me? I would make the same mistake many spiritual gurus have done with me. Because one thing, I did not mean to, but I had to test. I had to test out the waters. I send out invitation to different ones, those that have millions of followers, those that have no followers. You see what I'm saying? And then just to test to see, do they really know what they are doing? Or are they just saying that, okay, they're about the spirituality, but still giving too much power to the physicality? You see what I mean? Because if you are thinking, once you go beyond physicality, then now the game changed. The numbers don't apply. Especially when the higher you go, the smaller the numbers. You see what I mean? Because it's not about quantity when it comes to the higher levels. It's about quality now. What you can achieve with 5 people with their full knowledge of themselves, you may not have been able to achieve that with 1 million people who have no understanding of life and who they are. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not about numbers anymore. So that's why I had to judge the leaders to see how they seeing in numbers. You see, for myself, so I can know who I can listen to without judgment, without question. You see what I'm saying? And then I see many have failed because they think, okay, your platform don't have enough views and this and that. They're going with the numbers. Why? Because of the survival mode that they are kept in. So once you are kept there, I mean, you are being manipulated anyway. So I cannot trust you fully to be who you are because you are being manipulated. You just don't know that. Why? Because you are thinking in numbers. We're not saying the numbers don't matter, because the numbers, trust me, everything is going to happen anyway. You're going to get the numbers, even if you sacrifice them in the beginning. You see what I mean? Because there's no choice for you to get the numbers anyway, if they are needed. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But the thing is, if it is what you decide on, you see, like, do you decide on the number of the platform to connect with the platform? What if that platform holds the potential to bring a big change? So you pass on it based on your manipulation. You see what I'm saying? So now you're thinking, okay, numbers. That's why many people, you may have many followers, yet you don't raise enough money. And then you have one follower who's a millionaire, can give you one check covering the whole world or something like that. You see? Because the numbers really don't apply in this game of spirit. You see? Things may happen in ways we don't even get. We don't even understand. And that's why we have to trust the magical part of life. You see what I mean? Trust in ourselves. Believe in what we are doing and have the right intention. You see what I mean? That's all that you need. The most important thing is the intention. That's why they don't seek to control most of your action more than they control what you decide and the intention you have. They want to make sure that that intention has to do with survival. Because the minute that they control the beginning of the action, then they control the outcome of the action, whether you know it or not. That's why they keep you in that survival mode, because you're going to mostly make decisions based on it. And you're going to completely overlook everything that has to do with anything outside of survival. You see what I mean? And you won't even know when you do it, because it takes one action to create the ripple effect in the wrong path. You see what I'm saying? And this is what the leaders have to understand. It's not numbers at all. You see, we have to leave the number game, because as we are coming, Earth is going into a less dense atmosphere or something like this. We have to understand the numbers too are becoming less. You see, it all goes throughout the whole spectrum. The numbers now it's gonna be less, but with lighter hearts and fuller potential. You see what I mean? And stuff like that. It's a whole new game now. Though we may make use of what's old, but we have to basically take new thoughts. We have to see things from a spiritual level, a different perspective that has less to do with physicality more and more. You see what I'm saying? Because physicality is not where the power is. It's just an illusion of power there. The true power is in the spirit. That's why we allow spirit to make the decisions more. And trust me, the spirit will never tell you to go with the numbers. The spirit will tell you go with with the potential of the platform. What do they believe? What do they want to achieve with that platform? What is their goal for the world? You see what I'm saying? And what is their journey? What are they doing with their time and stuff like this? That's what spirit will go with. But the ego will go with the numbers. How much views are they getting? How much? Because it's not wrong. You see what I mean? It's not that it's wrong though, but it will take us more time, like you say, to get where we need to be in this time. You see what I mean? Because it's taking us to the wrong path. It's like if you want to go to somewhere in your area, you go to around the world to go back to where you are to go to where you wanted to go closer to you. You see what I mean? Which is wasting your time anyway in the first place. You see what I mean? We just gotta understand that. And this is why I always say, Ziki, I speak to the teachers, I speak to the leaders. Why? Because I only say that nothing exists unless there was a need for it. That's one thing I realize. The police exists because there's a need for it. Government have most power because there's a need for it. We are creating that need within ourselves. You see what I'm saying? But we don't know that. 5G exists because of a need within ourselves. You see what I mean? Though we may go around trying to break the towers, but we are the one that projected that idea in the first place. You know, that created the need. You see what I mean? So that's what it is we have to understand.
And the idea of
and
the idea of wanting to be more sovereign in the state of in the idea of money. That's why cryptocurrency is there. And it's all leveling out. It's all making a lot of sense what you're saying. So
indeed. Because it stands for sovereignty, but is it sovereignty of the physical body that was meant, or is it the sovereignty, of the body because of the spirit that needs to be? You see what I mean? Because if there's a lack on the ability of the vessel that the spirit used, then that lack is gonna affect the spirit as well, because there's no difference within the two. They move together. You see what I mean? That's why that sovereignty is not a sovereignty for us to become greater consumers. It's a sovereignty that has to do with giving us our full ability so that spirit can express itself more and more. You see what I mean? Because the blockage is the spirit that's basically experiencing the blockage. Because body has no no need to, I don't even know what to say with this. You know what I mean? But it's the spirit, basically. You know what I mean? It's that we have to have the proper understanding of that sovereignty.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Because it's needed for the spirit to be the change that needs to be. Because the ego is not gonna be the change that needs to be. When we say we have to be the change, it's spirit that's deciding that change. You see what I mean? Within the body. Because body doesn't make decisions. You see what I'm saying? So everything that you hear, the abundance, is for the spirit to have the abundance in its own use. You see what I mean? It's not for the ego to make use of or something like that. The sovereignty is not for the ego to be its monkey self or its childlike self or whatever, going around creating little robots and whatever. That's not what that sovereignty is about. It's for the spirit to be able to add to what is needed for the new world to take place or something like this. You see what I mean? To bring things back to the way they were. Because spirit was outside of time. It was in the beginning and it will be in the end. So spirit is what knows how it was in the beginning. The ego doesn't. You see what I mean? Because the ego is limited in time. Spirit was there when things were. You see what I mean? So spirit will know what needs to be done. You see, that's why all of these things is to facilitate the spirit use of the body. You see what I mean? But not for the body to be or something like this on its own, continually working against the spirit within it. You see what I'm saying? It's not the healthy way to see it. So that's why cryptocurrency, you will question it once you have that understanding and stuff like that. But we are able to make use of it anyway. Because once he exists and then some of us accept it, then we can find out, we are the alchemists anyway. We find use for it.
Yeah, there's some good platforms. There's some good platforms to use for it. Like I'm seeing Steam It and DTube doing their thing. So that's why I question space on it, and being able to see the qualities, but also be aware of the disadvantages, but use it to your ability and not let it override your, I like to say in this life, we need to learn to play the game and not let the game play us. So it is very much part of the game. It's on the other side of the board. So you need to learn how to play with it and or not against it, and use it to its benefits. So I mean that
exactly. You already exist.
Yes, exactly. So
you have no choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that being said, I know we could talk on for so much longer. But wow, it's been an amazing talk. It's been very expansive.
Yeah, indeed.
Really,
I really appreciate those intelligent questions. You see, forcing me to go within and find the answers and stuff like this. And I realized it's the first time I ever even go on cryptocurrency like this. I'm always coming out for it, but never speak in a questionable manner about it. You see what I mean? Because
I appreciate it very much.
Your platform that facilitated that. You see what I mean? And I thank you for raising the proper questions, because it's very important that the proper question is raised. And there was this movie, I remember, I think it was I, Robot with Will Smith, where the engineer at that time that was creating those robots or something like this, though he didn't like the idea of the robots because he saw the danger that they put to humanity, but it was too late because he already created them and already making money, and people, and they expecting you, whether you believe in robots anymore or not, I already invested my money, you need to bring 1 million robots and that's all there is to it, or it's gonna be your death or something like that. So he had no choice. He created the hell for himself. But he had to create a way to make sure to assist the ones that's gonna realize that there's a danger in those robots, and that's gonna wanna create a change. So now Will Smith was that man in the movie, in I, Robot. And then he always, when Will Smith come and ask certain questions, he will say that's not the right question, and he will not give an answer. But the minute that Will Smith has the right question, then he will say, this is what is the right question. Because the question itself can have the potential to create the change, even without the answer. But just because the question was arisen or something like this, already brings the curiosity out in the mind, and then the answer already lingers right there with it as well. You see what I mean? If I don't get the answer, but someone is gonna think about it and get the answer. But it's so important that the proper questions are raised or something like that. And that's why I'm so grateful for this. Out of most of all the questions, this one is most importantly, because this is what's leading us ahead today. Cryptocurrency is leading the world, because money, the problem with money was that it was the God over us, and that was a danger. You see, and now we did not change the God making it us anymore. We changed the name of God and the aspect of God, but still have a God over us. You see, therefore there is not really much change in our movement at the moment, except that we're changing how we think, or changing how we call that God, and changing what we use as the idol to represent that God. Yeah. Is it gonna be crypto numbers, or is it gonna be paper numbers or something like that? But the power that the God holds in the reality did not change. You see what I mean? Except that we call it now crypto. Yeah. You see what I mean?
A coin with two same faces. So yeah, 100% with you on that. So
the same control is gonna be there. The same this, the same that. Because really, let's say you're gonna buy everything with crypto. You wanna buy your computer with crypto. Let's say you wanna buy a Microsoft piece or something like this, or Apple piece, or Apple or laptop. So now, if Apple is supposed to be in alignment with its investors, and the investors are going with what is against the world right now. So Apple has more tendency to answer to the answers of its investors than he has to the consumers most of the time. You see what I mean? Because the consumers, they just consume whatever you put to them anyway. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, like, basically, if there was no change really in who holds the power, the beans or the crypto or the money itself, then now do Apple or Microsoft still hold the power to say, I don't want to sell to you, even if you have your own cryptocurrency? You see what I mean? If they don't agree with what you are doing, you need computers anyway to do your work more than ever now. If they don't agree to sell to you anyway, they won't sell to you. Even if you have the sovereignty in your own crypto, your own coin, your own money. But who's to say somebody else is going to want to accept that money anyway? You see what I'm saying? Because the power is the same way you have the power to have your own money. Somebody else has the power to accept that money from you or not. You see what I mean? That's why we just got to understand things to the fullest, you see, so that we can make the right decisions or something like that. You see what I mean? And if we have to make sure to create alternative routes and other ways to do things, then we should do that. Not saying that crypto may not be a good answer or something like this, but I'm just making sure that we keep the mind vulnerable and open so that we can question things as we move forward. You see what I mean? And
100%.
We come
100%.
Think about things, you see?
100%. Most definitely. And thank you again so much for your answers. They've been expansive and just very in-depth and much appreciated and needed. So, and I'm glad that we shared this space and that you got a lot from it as I did. And I know we're going to be in touch soon. I'd definitely like to see how you get along once more before this year's out. I'll still be following your work.
I appreciate you. And I will follow yours.
Yes. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing this.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
It's been amazing. And guys, you know, if you want to watch, or I'll leave some information on Vlad and his work that he's up to and what he does with this video. Yeah, thank you so much for watching the show as well. This is the Need Black Cross Talk Show. My name is Zeke Dorset. This is Vlad Imbert, Vlad Imbert, and
Vlad Imbert-El, yes.
Wholeness. We are signing out. Thank you.
Wholeness.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you.
Thanks
See you next. Thank you.